Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching SpeedGaming 5, and we're coming with you the third of today's races of Pokemon Crystal Full Item Randomizer. I am one of your commentators. My name is Glacial. I'm also known as PG Weaver, and with me I have...
Hey guys, it's Strosada. I'm back on SpeedGaming and really happy to be here and really excited to see what this new tournament format brings to our audience today.
Yeah, I commented one of these earlier today. It was a lot of fun. It was an absolutely crazy run. But it looks like both of our racers are ready to go. So without much more ado, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, it looks like CV's all good. Everything's ready. And you can see, for anybody who's newer to this format, quick little bit of notes about it. I do think we have some chat commands to help, but basically all of the items are randomized. Every single Pokeball, no matter where you find it in the game, has the potential to be something you need to beat the game. We're going all the way to red, so we're in it for a bit of the long haul, so it should be a fun time.
Yep. In addition, all the Pokemon in the wild, the gift Pokemon, your trainer's Pokemon, they're all random. Their stats are the same, their types are the same, their evolution's mostly the same. We'll come back to that. But all their moves, totally up in the air. Any Pokemon can know any move. It's going to be a lot of fun. There we go. And they're off.
It looks like the stream delay has Baby a little bit behind, but you can see their timers. We're a couple seconds apart from each other, but that'll probably only really throw us off for a couple minutes here.
There we go. They're back in sync now. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our starters. Also, did you see what item Mom gave us? I missed it.
Sorry, I did not.
Oh, okay, so Tauros is already on the table. That's a really good start. And then a Krabby and a Jumpluff. Well, I know which one I would take.
Yeah, not only is the Tauros obviously the best Pokemon here, Krabby is not a bad Pokemon to give to your rival. And, you know, that's not typically something that you think about, but when everything else is kind of up in the air, it's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that Tauros is one of the best Pokemon you could choose to run in one of these in general. It's very strong, very fast, gets stab off its special. Like, it's a good option, at least in my opinion.
I typically prefer, on principle, to run Pokemon that prefer to use their special attack stat than their physical attack stat.
Yeah, why did I say stab off their special? That's not what I meant.
Yeah. Tauros is probably one of the best physical attackers that you can run.
I've always been under the impression that physical in Gen 2 is better than special, which is funny, because I also like to run special whenever I have the option.
I think that that's largely a matter of preference. In something like a bingo, typically, you know, we did a Crystal Bingo tournament last year. Since you don't go as far into the game, physical attackers can be stronger because of the fact that you get headbutt really early, and normal stab is enough to get through most of the game. But when you have to go all the way to red, you want to maximize your damage output. And special attackers are almost always dealing neutral damage. Sorry, special attackers are usually capable of dealing super effective damage, whereas neutral attackers are usually attacking with normal moves that tend to hit at least neutral and not really anything more.
Yep. So Schmitty's doing something there that I've always heard referred to as the perfect buy. You start the game with 3,000 money, and if you go to the mart and you buy 5 Pokeballs, 2 potions, and 4 repels, that's exactly $3,000.
Oh, that's plain badge.
Yep, and there's the plain badge, which is a great start because, first off, you're going to need that, but even more than that, it also is part of strength, and it opens up a check in Goldenrod.
Did anybody save before coming up here? Or rather, I guess did. Oh, that's HMO4. Oh, is that full strength?
That's full strength. I've always hoped for full cut, and I've never seen it, but full strength isn't bad either. So, for anybody who's not seen one of these before, never done this, doesn't know a thing about Crystal, let's talk a little bit about what their end goal is.
Yeah, of course. So there's a couple of big things that we're looking for, so that are going to be like typically called progress. First off, we were talking about full strength and the fact that that helps you get around the map, but almost even more importantly, we have a Tauros with strength as our main right now.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That is like it is not at all unfeasible to take this thing all the way to the end game if you want. We do not have to main switch if we don't want to.
No, not at all. Tauros with strength is really good. So for the end game, their final and ultimate goal is to defeat Red, and Mount Red is located at Mount Silver. Now, to get to Mount Silver, you need, let's say, 3 things. You actually need it at minimum 21, but let's say 3. You need all the badges, so all 16 of them. There's 16 in this game. You also need some way to access Kanto, and you need some form of access to specifically the western side of Kanto. This game is broken into primarily 4 regions. There's Upper and Lower Johto, and then there's East and West Kanto. And their ultimate goal is to get to West Kanto with all 16 badges to open the path to Red.
Yeah, and just for anyone at home who might be familiar with Pokemon but's not... Oh, that's a big deal. Hold on, let's stop for a second. So, Smitty just picked up Rock Smash. TM08. TM08 teaches Rock Smash, which obviously, in some later Pokemon games, is actually an HM move that you use to pass by. But in this game, it just gives you... you just need the TM, and you can already use it outside of battle. So, I'm interested to see if Smitty's going to go for this here.
Because, yeah, he is. He's gone back in after getting the item.
So, he can teach Rock Smash here, and it looks like he actually is going to go for a main switch here. And the reason why is that sometimes Pokemon pop out of these rocks when you smash them, and those Pokemon are all automatically level 10.
They're level 15, actually.
15, right, 15. Headbutt is level 10.
Yes.
So, there's 2 encounters in the Rock Smash checks. I usually, personally, only wait to see one of them. But also, there's some items that it looks like Smitty wants to check for here as well.
So, the Rock Smash Pokemon is a Cloister. Cloister's not terrible as a Pokemon. I don't think it's on the par with a strength Tauros, but it is 9 levels higher, and that's not nothing.
Yeah, you could at least carry it around, make sure that your repels are going to work for a while. You could potentially think about main switching if you're just a fan of Cloister as a Pokemon, I guess.
It really depends on what its moves are and how quickly HMO3 comes, I think.
Yeah, HMO3, for anyone who's not aware, is Surf, and yeah, Stab Surf is going to be a big deal.
It's worth noting, by the way, that all of the items that Smitty is getting here and that Baby K got earlier are out of logic. The game will not ever force you to do a dark room without both Flash and the Zephyr badge to use it. So if it doesn't look like he found anything, if he had found something worth keeping, it would have just been something to keep in the back of his mind that, hey, whatever it is I have found, the Zephyr badge cannot be behind it.
So one thing that we're watching Smitty do right here is something that Snowbear pointing out in chat that Cloister is typically thought of more of as a physical Pokemon, and I don't disagree with that, but Surf on any water-type Pokemon, even if they're physically slated, is still going to be something you want. But that's not at all wrong. Like, if Cloister's using physical, you have Strength and Surf. Strength and Surf are good coverage. So, but what I was going to talk about is that The saving. So what you saw Smitty do a little bit back there was save and then go and check an item and reset. So one of the most important pieces of or tools that you can get in this game is not even like necessarily your progress in the game, but knowledge of where progress is and where progress could be. So if you save, go check a certain item, and then reset, the fact that you don't have that item doesn't matter if you know what it is and know that it's not important.
I want to just cut in here for just a second. babyk just checked the treasure room in the ruins of Alph, and one of the things he found back there was the mystery egg. The mystery egg is a key item that has one job, and it gives you one check back in the starting location. It's a little far to go back for one check, so it's kind of annoying to actually see that item right now, because it's unlikely either of them are going to go for it, but there's always going to be in the back of their minds this idea of, well, what if that item is the squirt bottle? What if it's the one item I need?
Yeah, so one of the big things that we're looking for in this early game, the big ticket item that both of our players are going to be looking for right now is simply a way to leave Southern Johto. So if you can see right to the left of where Smitty is walking right now, there's the Sudowoodo that you typically have to get the squirt bottle to wake up and get past. So if you get past that Sudowoodo, you have access to Ekritique, you have access to Mahogany, you can go to the rocket sequence in Mahogany. There's a bunch of checks to do. But right now, we are locked in this kind of loop in Southern Johto between Violet, Azalea, and Goldenrod. The two ways out of that loop are to either go to Kanto using the Magnet Train Pass or the Squirt Bottle to get past that Sudowoodo.
Yep, and if they had found the Squirt Bottle early enough that they can get it before leaving Violet City, then they could actually either do what's known as reverse Johto, where they actually go through Goldenrod and come back around, or they could just go straight on ahead and find a strong Pokemon up around Mahogany and Ekritique. It doesn't look like it's shown up yet, so it looks like it is going to be probably a bit of a standard opening for the moment. That said, Schmitty is doing a main swap. It looks like he has elected to run the Cloister. He's taught it strength, he's moved it to the front of his party, and he is now going to be destroying Faulkner's gym with it.
Is Baby switching to a Victory Bell?
Is Baby switching to a Victory Bell?
Or did Tauros just die? Did I miss something?
If you missed it, I missed it too.
Yeah,
it seems like such a weird decision to go from Tauros to Victory Bell. That's a pretty significant downgrade for not any upgrade in levels.
Yeah, and I mean, I would understand it if the Victory Bell had a really good move to rely on. But, I mean, I don't think it really does as far as I could see. Victory Bell's decent, I agree with you. I just don't know if... Victory Bell's a decent Pokemon. I just don't know that I believe it's better than Tauros.
It does have Bone Rush, which isn't... Like, it's not bad. I'm not saying that it's a bad decision to do it. I'm just saying that I don't necessarily think it's the one I would have made.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of where I'm sitting. Like, I don't think... Like, I'm not worried about Baby... Oh, it has Petal Dance. That's also kind of a thing.
Yeah, I'm not crazy on any Grass-type move in this gym, to be honest with you, but if I had to go with one, probably be Petal Dance. I'm being told Bone Rush is bad. Well, shows what I know.
I mean, Bone Rush is bad, but ground coverage is still good.
I might be thinking of the other one that's not Earthquake that's actually really good.
Bone Club?
That might be it. It doesn't matter.
No, whatever. So, both of the players right now are going up Sprout Tower in Violet. Sprout Tower gives you a good number of checks, so it's usually a good idea to do early. Though sometimes Elder Lee, who is the kind of boss of this stage at the top can be a little bit tough. I think his highest level is 15, 14, something like that.
I think it's 11.
Oh, well, shows what I know.
Bone Meringue. Thank you. I was thinking of Bone Meringue.
Yeah. But
yeah, Elderly has a level 11, which can be a little bit rough if you're coming there straight off of like catching a level 3 right outside Violet City. You get a good amount of experience climbing Sprout Tower and like 5 or 6 items, which is why people elect to do it pretty like consistently before the gym. Which is why babyk is doing it first, and Smitty, who swapped to the level 15, has already beaten the gym and is now doing it.
Yeah, because the first trainer in Violet's gym is actually typically, at least in my experience, kind of like one of the bigger walls in the early game. Just because it starts with a level 9. Typically your main's not going to be level 9 by that point in the game. So if you get a level 9 with a good move, it can be a problem. I want to say welcome to all of our friends coming over from SpeedGaming 2. This is the Pokemon Crystal Full Item Randomizer. We're still in the group stage, but lots of exciting things happening in this tournament. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Yep, we're still very early in the group stage too. We've got 3 weeks of group stage games going on. I think this is day 2 and run number 4.
Not to mention, you haven't missed much of this race if you're just joining.
Yep, they have made it to Violet City, and that's about it. They found strength before, they found strength on, like, both parts of strength on the same route with Mr. Pokemon, so I've never seen that before. But other than that, so far the seed has been pretty standard.
Do you think there's any big implications, anything going through the runner's mind since they have both parts of strength? Is there any particular place you're trying to get to with that?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I'm thinking about anywhere in particular with just strength access, because just strength access actually doesn't get you very much. It will get you through Ice Cave once Ice Cave opens up, but that requires 7 badges. You can get the both items in Slowpoke Well once you have Surf. You can get the all the items in Cianwood once you have Surf. Like, strength is a great sort of supplementary HM to have access to, but without a couple more items, it really only opens up one check on the first floor of Burnt Tower on its own.
Yeah, if we get North Johto access before we end up going to Kanto, it might be important to check the 4 items in Mount Mortar that are strength swapped, especially if we don't have Surf and or Waterfall at that point.
I forgot the Mount Mortar items. Well, yeah. Is my face red?
I'm really curious what Smitty's doing right now.
Smitty is going to drop off the mysterious egg.
Ah, right. I think I almost wonder. I'm not skilled enough to know this. I kind of wonder if going through Dark Cave would have been a little faster. I don't think so, but especially with having to do the rival fight, it might have been.
You'd have to do the rival unless whatever this is leads to like 4 more checks and he manages to find Surf in it. I wonder if you'd have to do the rival fight anyways. So he's just resetting the whole thing.
Would you have checked that TM before resetting, though?
Ooh, that's a good question. Since he'd already done the rival fight, I would have.
Well, I guess even if it's a good, like, I'm trying to think now. I wonder, like, how good of a move would it have to be for you to not reset there is the problem, I guess.
Yeah, it would need to have been, like, something amazing, like a Thunderbolt or a Psychic TM. But there's a chance that it could have been one of those things, so.
Yeah. I mean, Earthquake even, like, there's some options.
There are options, but I feel like for the time invested already, plus the return time, it would probably have needed to have been something like the best move of a given type, and that type being very strong. So, like Thunderbolt or Earthquake.
Snowbear also bringing up a good point in chat that we're probably going to end up returning to Little Root at some point and checking that anyway. Probably when we go to get the Rising Badge check, or, you know, just whenever we have Fly and it's convenient to go back there, we can always get it again.
Yeah, it would have needed to have been Teleport. That's a fair point.
That's true.
Also, isn't Little Root Gen 3?
Is it?
It's either Little Root or New Bark. I got confused.
It's New Bark. You're right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I got confused in the last run as well. So it's like it's one of the starting cities. Smitty's not having a good time with these optionals. This is the second one he's hit in Union Cave.
Hey, I stand by my defense that Gen 3 is the best gen, and y'all can hate me for it, but I don't mind slipping up and saying Gen 3.
I agree with you. So, like, Gen 3 was a great gen. Not really relevant to the topic at hand, but you're right. Gen 3 was the best gen.
I also wanted to point out for Smitty, this is just kind of a tip at home. When you're doing that spinner, the fan, like by the stairs in the cave there, if you go all the way down and touch the edge of the water right there and then go straight up and just keep bolting past that guy, you never hit him. So there are really consistent ways to skip that Pokemaniac, which was the second optional trainer that Original Smitty hit in that cave. So yeah.
Yep. I asked Smitty before the run what item he'd like to see really early, and he said Old Rod, but I think he wanted it a little bit earlier than this. So I'm not sure if he's terribly happy with that. He did find it in Union Cave, but it might be just a little bit too late for him to be happy with it.
Well, also, Old Rod also gets you a level 10, and Rock Smash has already given him a level 15.
Yeah, that's basically why. But it looks like he's electing to skip Azalea entirely, which is an interesting...
No, it's not interesting. This is the game theory correct play. Bugsy is a scam, and I am here to tell you that this is the way that you play this game, and no one is allowed to fight me on this. I will not hear it.
I don't know, man. I'm not sure I agree.
Bugsy is a scam, and the first person to fight Morty instantly loses.
Oh, and he's gone all the way back.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to do. If you have an escape rope, you can escape rope out of Ilex Forest. And Ilex Forest is just, the check density is so huge. I personally really enjoy getting there as fast as possible.
I've not seen that particular strategy before of going all the way to the Sweet Scent check and then escape roping out and going back to Azalea.
I know. I in theory like it, but I also say that in the community, we didn't always start these races with the bike. It used to be that the bike was guaranteed to be before you have to leave South Johto, but you didn't start with it. I liked doing that theory that Smitty just did a lot more when we didn't start with bike, because like every second that you don't have bike, you're falling behind. But that's kind of an outdated strat. Yeah,
especially because especially if you're doing like key item randomizer, the Bugsy item is not something that I always felt comfortable abandoning if I was that far into the run and hadn't found the bike yet, just because like there's a bunch of checks in Goldenrod, but if it's not in Goldenrod, it's gonna really hurt to walk all the way back to Azalea.
Yeah, that's the big thing, like with going into Ilex and like the entirety of Azalea, right? Like Azalea gives you, doing this Azalea sequence gives you what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checks? Doing this Azalea sequence gives you 5 checks?
6. Oh wait, no, 7 actually, because I forgot it. So there's Oh no, it is.
It's the one in Slowpoke Well, the 2 that are given to you by Bugsy himself, what's typically the cut HM and the charcoal.
And Kurt gives you a Pokeball.
Right, and Kurt. So 6. But like, and those checks are good, and it's a decent number of checks. It's very possible to have something important there. But they do take a while. You have to think, especially this early in the game, like, you're committing a good chunk of time. And it makes sense, because most other people are also probably committing that time. But if you skip it and you get rewarded for it, it's a pretty big payoff if it works. Granted, it is very, very possible for that kind of risk to not work.
I think it's probably an easier risk to take if you already have one of your 2 items to break out of South Johto. If you've already found the pass or the squirt bottle, this is suddenly a much nicer sort of idea of skipping, both because you don't have to run the risk of not finding whatever it is you're looking for in Goldenrod, but also, especially if what you found is the squirt bottle, we have logic built in specifically as to where you can find Fly. And Fly is something that both of these runners are probably interested in finding as fast as humanly possible. If Fly has the possibility of being in Northern Johto, which there's a possibility it might be locked out of there, it requires a specific setup, we'll get to it later. If it's possible to be in Northern Johto, that means it's much less likely to be in Azalea. And if it's not in Azalea, then theoretically, you can skip Azalea with almost no punishment because you will be able to fly back eventually.
Not to mention that if you do skip Azalea and you end up coming back later in the game, you know, like, you could in theory get very rewarded by simply the fact that you can do it faster if you come back with a higher level main, right? Like, for instance, if the Magnet Train pass is somewhere in Goldenrod, you can go to Kanto, get yourself like a main either in like a high level 20 or even theoretically like in the 30s for a leveled main, and come back and just stomp Azalea without even thinking about it. Whereas you can see like this Victory Bell is having to 2-shot some of them. If you wait until later, if you come back and do this later, you're going to 1-shot everything.
Yep, so that's also worth paying out for. Just, you always do run that risk that, you know, HMO2 is on Bugsy.
No, you won't, because Bugsy is a scam. I rest my case.
That's not how lawyers work. It's just playing the odds, and a lot of people will take that gamble because when it pays off and it saves you a good bit of time, and when it doesn't, it loses you a lot. But it pays off more than it doesn't.
It's also a big kind of like play that people can do, and I know that like some of this is like personal theories and stuff, but you know, one of the big theories that a lot of the top, or at least I know several top runners have this kind of idea, is that, you know, judging how you feel your skill is compared to your opponents. Like, if you think that you are just going to move faster over the course of the game because of your knowledge of the game, because of your main, for some reason, you might be more incentivized to take a more standard path, because the more standard path is what you think your opponent's going to do. And if you think that you're just going to beat your opponent to everything just because of skill or because of main or because of knowledge or because of something, you probably want to be doing the same thing as them, but faster.
Yep. Meanwhile, if you think that you are much less skilled than your opponent, doing some crazy risks or out-of-the-box plays might find you an item an hour before your opponent does and give you the edge you need to win the fight. That's why when I get to my matches, I'm going to be doing the Elite Four as soon as possible against all of my opponents. Because I got no chance unless it's an Elite Four seed, I think.
Don't worry, I think you have to play me, and if Morty is required, I instantly lose every single race.
Oof, that's fair. Also, can we just take a moment and appreciate that Snorlax? It was level 10, but it had Thunderbolt and Dragon Breath, and it nearly took out the Cloister.
Oh. Snorlax being a threat. And you can kind of see some of this playing off, like, right? Compare our runners right now. Like, Smitty, because of this Cloister and its level, Smitty's just moving faster. Like, both of our runners are basically at the same fight, but Smitty has already done the entirety of Ilex Forest.
Including the Farfetch'd.
Including the Farfetch'd, meaning that he'll be able to check the Charcoal as well. Like, they're both at the same fight, but Smitty's a good bit ahead.
He's
like,
actually
not
already
like
checked the
massively, but a good bit.
Yeah, it's definitely not massive, but it is an advantage. And yeah, as Snowbear points out, Cloister has absolutely no special defense. It's got like a 95 attack, an 85 special attack, like 115 defense, and then it's got like 45 special defense. It has no special defense.
Not to mention that ice typing doesn't necessarily do it any favors defensively.
Nope, ice typing is the worst defensive type in the game. Why is ice typing the worst defensive type in the game, by the way? You'd think it would be better given that they make so many bulky defensive ice type Pokemon, and then it has one resist and it's to itself. Like, ice is stereotypical glass cannon. It should be based on the stats that they've given it. And then they make Pokemon like Avalon that is slow and meant to be defensive and bulky, but it's ice type. Well, okay, I'm getting a little off topic. Let's. But yeah, no, Smitty's already made it all the way up to Goldenrod City. Meanwhile, babyk is going to have to stop and do the rival fight, and then all of the checks in the forest. So when we said that Smitty is ahead, that's what we mean. Smitty is just, he was ahead, even though they were on the same fight.
Not to mention that, without question, Smitty's main is better right now. Like, this Victory Bell's gonna get there. It's a good main. It's gonna work. But it's lower leveled than the Cloister right now. It just is.
That said, I've got to wonder if the Tauros wouldn't still have been a better option.
Oh, no. I personally, myself, think that I would still be running the Tauros over both of these Pokemon. I don't know if anybody in chat disagrees, but, like...
There's an attack that may lower special defense in the Mart.
That has a number of things it could be. It might be.
It can be three things. It can be Crunch, it can be Psychic, and it can be... Oh, I just picked the last one. Shadow Ball, yes. Those are the only three moves it can be. All three of those are at least decent. Psychic is by far the best option, but any one of those is good to see in the Mart.
Yeah, especially with Strength. Shadow Ball kind of really, like... Shadow Ball is a really nice cover to everything that Strength can't do. Like, it's not perfect, but it works really well.
Yeah, and Normal is a really underrated offensive type. It can't hit anything for super effective, but it's only resisted by, or can't hit particularly well, three types. Rock, Steel, and Ghost.
And Shadow Ball most certainly covers your Ghost, so...
Yep. Honestly, it'll cover most of it. Like, it'll hit the other two for neutral as well, I'm pretty sure. So
it does.
Yeah, so Shadow Ball and Strength is basically perfect coverage because Hisui and Zoroark isn't in this game. So it's a good combination to find, even if it is just Shadow Ball.
Still, one of the big questions that we have to answer here is where... Oh, no, that's Storm Badge. So, Storm Badge, for anyone who doesn't know, gives you the ability to use HM02, which is Fly. We have half of Fly already, and we do not have a way to leave South Johto yet.
Nope, they've only got a couple more checks. There's the Underground... There's three... has he done the bike mart yet? I didn't.
We haven't done anything north of Goldenrod, I don't think.
Yeah, so...
I've done the bike.
Okay, so there's three more checks in Goldenrod after this Underground. There's two on Whitney and one in the Flower Shop. Then there is... There is 3 in the park. There's 1 on the route up to the park, and then if it's not any of those, we're gonna have to go bring Kenya back. I hope it's Kenya. I want it to be Kenya. That's always the worst thing ever, is having to run all the way back around, especially if it gives you the pass, because then you've got to basically run through Lower Johto 3 times.
That's Fog Badge. That's half of Surf.
Yeah, so you need all 16 badges to make it to red. Like hard stop, hard required, full stop, end of sentence. There's no other option. You need all 16 badges. If you're going to find just 3 to start with, Plain Badge, Fog Badge, Storm Badge is probably the best trio you can get, because that's Fly, Surf, Strength right off the bat. Maybe you can make an argument for Hive Badge over Plain Badge to begin with, because Cut is maybe a little bit more useful than Strength.
I think you could maybe also argue Rising Badge somewhere in there, but I mean, we're arguing very fine points at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is also kind of a double-edged sword now, right? Because we have to think, so one of the big eventualities that we might need to prepare for is, what if Surf is in Southern Johto? If Surf is in Southern Johto, then you have to think all of the Surf checks that are even potentially available might be your pass out of Southern Johto, which means we might be in for a very long amount of backtracking.
Especially because you already have Strength, so just having Surf only opens up a couple of checks, but when you have Surf and Strength, that's all of Slowpoke Well. That's the Ice Stone, or the Water Stone Chamber in the Ruins of Alph. Like, it's a lot of checks if you have both Strength and Surf.
I don't think Smitty has decided to use the kind of contest tech, I mean. So you'll see some runners here set the day at the beginning of the game to a day where the bug catching contest is, so that you can enter the contest, go and do this check that Smitty is about to do, and then quit out of the contest to leave the park early. He's just choosing to use a soft reset instead, which is a perfectly viable way to do it, as long as that check in the corner of park is nothing important.
Yep. Apparently, you run the risk of doing that. There's a crash that can happen. I've yet to see it, but apparently it can happen. So I know some people don't like to do that.
I've never heard of it and believe it doesn't exist.
You know, Snow Bear seems to be pretty convinced that it's a thing. Plus, with the bike, somebody would probably want to time that, because with the bike, if your movement is good, that cutscene is pretty dang long.
Yeah, the only reason that it would in theory be better is if that item is something important. So
yep. And in Key Item Randomizer, that item is guaranteed to be a TM, so your mileage may vary with that. It looks like Smitty is doing the Goldenrod City gym, so there's one required fight in here with one Pokemon, and then Whitney with her too. And thank God neither of them are that Miltank, because that Miltank was mean.
If I were Smitty here, I would be opening up TMs. That having the strength down that golem was painful.
Yeah. I mean, if I was Smitty, I'd just be hoping for HM03. Like, it is more of a physical attacker than a special attacker, but it's 95 to 85, and it stabs Surf. Like, I throw Surf on anything that has even a remotely decent special attack if it's water type, because stab, 90 power, 100% accuracy is just so good.
Well, that's not threatening, so I don't think Whitney's going to be putting up much of a fight. Unless this...
You say that, and then we get, Thunderbolt Ho-Oh.
Oh.
I was ready for
Thunderbolt Ho-Oh. You certainly should have said Drill Peck.
I mean, either or at this point.
Sure. Alright, let's see what Whitney gives. SS ticket.
SS
Okay,
ticket.
so SS ticket is a very interesting thing to have. So we mentioned the fly logic earlier. One of the things that is in our fly logic is that the program that generates our seed is never allowed to force you to get on the boat in order to is never allowed to force you to get on the boat to get fly. But we should talk about the fact that we just picked up the pass.
Yeah, so we can pick up the pass, which leads to a situation known as reverse Kanto. At least I think it's called that sometimes. Basically, what it means is that your access to Northern Johto in this situation is to take the pass, to take the magnet train over to Saffron, and then go down to Vermilion and take the SS and back to Olivine. The fly logic says, among a couple of other restrictions, that you will always find fly, both parts of fly, before you are forced to take the boat. The other ones are entering Route 44, entering Misty's Gym, waking the Snorlax, and going up Tojo Falls. It doesn't restrict a lot of places, except that boat one. In seeds where you get the squirt bottle early, the must not take the boat. Basically, the only thing that could restrict is Northern Johto if you find the pass and the ticket without the squirt bottle, or it could restrict all of Kanto if you find the squirt bottle and the ship ticket without the pass. In this situation, it looks like we are, at least for the moment, locking Northern Johto out of having our HMO2, which is good because there's like 100 checks up there. There's a lot.
I want to note, just because we saw it, Smitty did just find the Rainbow Wing. That's not necessarily a super relevant item to have right now, simply because of the fact that we do not have Clear Bell. If we had Rainbow Wing and Clear Bell, that would unlock Tin Tower, but kind of keep that in the back of your mind for when we do find Clear Bell.
This another optional, and this one actually might. Oh yeah, he's just. So that optional has a level 32, I believe, and he's just noping his way out of that before it even starts.
So there's a couple of really important tasks that Smitty needs to start on now that he has made his way to Kanto. So the first thing that I would have on my mind, of course, is kind of the same thing that he appears to have, is just gather your quick checks. There's a bunch of checks that are just easy. They do not require you to do any fighting. They do not require you to have any items in particular. You just gotta do the walking to get the items. So right now, that's what he's doing. We're going to talk to the fan club. We did Mr. Psychic in Saffron. We did the gym. The fighting dojo. We're doing a couple of these quick checks.
Yep. You also got the cleanse tag person in the old daycare thing and got the upgrade check from Sylphmart.
Yeah. The next thing, which is, I assume, what he's doing right now, is we're going to main swap. This is Cycling Road. You have to have a bike to get here, but we start with bike. The Pokemon on this route can be, I believe, as high as level 30. Your averages are around like 28. So you're gaining like 4 levels by doing this right here over his Cloister.
I think it's actually 38 to. I think it's actually 28 to 34.
Is it? I don't know. Someone in chat probably knows. I thought it was 31, but I might be wrong. Oh, it appears you're right.
Like, it's at least 33. It's at least 33. I know that.
Okay. So I would personally say, it's only 4 levels. This might not be too important a thing. Well, it's more than 4 levels, sorry. He could probably stick with this Cloister if he really wanted to try, but Cloister is not a very good Pokemon, in my opinion. You can do better. In fact, I personally think that this Totodile is better. Getting into, pretty soon, not like immediately, but pretty soon it's going to be a Feraligatr, and Feraligatr with Surf and Strength is going to hit hard.
Yep, especially if he's got any rare candies in his bag that he can use to evolve it to Crocodile immediately. 29 to 33. I was close on both ends.
Yeah, my bad.
So it looks like it's high jumps, scary face, and a couple other moves that I didn't quite catch. It looks like he is going to be at least evolving it to Croconaw. He may just want to grab something and go. And Croconaw for Alligator is not a terrible option. He is ahead, but it's so hard to judge where you are in comparison to your opponent sometimes. He might think that he's ahead. He might think that he's way behind.
Well, also not to mention, like, 32 is a decent level for right now, and for Alligator is a good main. Like, can you find better? Maybe, but also, like, even then, high jump kick is pretty good.
Yeah, quick attack and seismic toss were the other two moves.
Yeah, high jump kick is the only one out of that thing's base moveset that I'm really concerned about right now. But, like, high jump kick, especially in combination with strength, right? So here's the big thing. So whenever you're talking about physical attackers, you're always considering strength as, like, their kind of default move. So whenever you're running a physical attacker, it's always you want to cover strength, and then you want to put strength on it, and then anything that covers strength's weaknesses. So right now, if this for Alligator had strength, high jump kick, shadow ball, that covers your, like, high jump kick covers your rocks and steels, strength hits everything, and then the ghost type would hit your shadow ball would hit your ghost types. Yep. So this is like a perfect moveset for this Gator. And then the fourth move later on is going to be Surf, just to hit water weak Pokemon, because for Alligator is a water type, and why not?
Yeah, I mean, just between high jump kick and shadow ball, he's got perfect coverage. The strength is just a good option to hit anything that you may not want to use high jump kick or shadow ball on. And he's turned around and he's gone straight into Janine. So Janine, for reasons that I'm sure made sense at the time, do not get me started on Johto's weird level curve. For reasons that I'm sure made sense at the time, Janine is actually the weakest of all of the Kanto gym leaders. She hovers around level 36, whereas, for example, Surge is about 46, 48-ish, and Blue gets all the way up to like 56.
Yeah, and with feeding this many rare candies and this many proteins, I think at this point, Smitty is telling himself that, hey, unless something pretty drastic happens, this Gator's probably what we're running the rest of the way.
I'm always a little bit hesitant about high jump kick, specifically because of that kept going and crash instance. I would honestly like to sub that out for a different fighting move, but if you can't find one, high jump kick is still very good. You wouldn't remember someone named Janine in Pokemon Red and Blue. That's because Janine is Koga's daughter? I'm going to go with daughter. Koga has gotten a promotion and is now part of the Elite Four, and Janine has taken over his gym. Yep, she's a ninja. And there's the reason that there's like 18 Janines in the gym is because they're in the middle of disguise training, and so you've got to find the right one. Thankfully, it's the same one every time. She's in the lower left corner, very easy to get to, and skip all of the gym trainers.
Baby K, by the way, since we just haven't talked about them in a while, they are also in Johto. Looks like they're doing the house check above Saffron. They're in that kind of step that I was talking about earlier of just getting your quick checks in Kanto out of the way. The big thing that I think I'm personally looking for is whether or not either of our racers here are interested in trying to make their way to Rock Tunnel. It's not in logic because we don't have Flash, but if you find something good and your opponent doesn't do it, we've been through that song and dance discussion before.
Yep. This Houndoom has Giga Drain, and Smitty is not having a fun time against it. But, oh, the quick attack actually proved to be useful. That's actually hysterical.
Priority moves will always help.
And this
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this Moltres is when you're sitting there going, man, I wish I had Surf.
Baby K found an amulet coin on the fisherman. Okay, didn't decide to keep it, but that can potentially be useful.
That was the check that Smitty didn't get because he crashed face first into that optional.
Let's go, Janine. Super useful.
It was so useful that Smitty immediately teleported all the way back up to the top of Cycling Road.
I don't know if I would have done that. I mean, it's slow, but I mean, it really depends. Like, this gator does need some experience.
It's slow, and there's a trainer between you and starting to climb the thing as well. So, like, it's very slow, but I kind of get it.
It was asked in chat, Amulet Coin is a held item that you can give to your Pokemon that increases the amount of money that you get as a reward for fights.
I think that the Amulet Coin is great in Key Item Randomizer, but in Full Item Randomizer, you're checking so many spots that you're getting so many items that the easiest way to get rid of them is to sell, that you're basically drowning in money. So I don't think that the Amulet Coin is as valuable in a full item than it is in a key item, but that's just sort of the way I prefer to look at it.
I don't disagree with you at all. I still think, I mean, it's not worth going out of your way for, but if you have an Amulet Coin and you don't have, and your main isn't holding anything else, you're gonna give them the Amulet Coin. There's no real reason not to.
Yeah, it's basically one of the items where it's like, if you have anything better, or if you have anything else, use that. But if you don't, the Amulet Coin is better than nothing.
Buddy!
I guess what we're saying is it's not an active detriment.
Do we know what Baby K is backtracking for right now?
So my guess would be that they are going to do the Kenya check. That's the only thing I can think of. It's a long way to go for, like, one check. But they don't have Surf. They don't have the Squirt Bottle. Like, I think they're doing the Kenya check, and I'm not entirely certain why this is their, like, primary thought when they could be taking the boat to Northern Johto.
Well, we don't want to go to Northern Johto yet because we don't have confirmation yet that Surf has a chance of being there. I mean, Fly. The big thing that we're looking for right now, the big ticket item is Fly. Granted, if we find the Squirt Bottle, the entirety of Northern Johto opens up to potentially having Fly. So if you have, like, a hunch that maybe the Kenya quest is going to give you the Squirt Bottle or Fly, then, you know, that's fine. Whereas Smitty is just saying, I don't care about your logic, I don't need Fly, and I'm probably going to find it anyway. He's going back to Northern Johto.
Yep, so there's the, there's Surf.
That's huge.
That's very big. So that means a couple of things. But the biggest thing that it means is that Baby K now has access to all of the Surf checks in Southern Johto, and there's a bunch of them, especially when you also have Strength. So at this point, they're going straight back to Cherry Grove. They're going to get there's one check there. There's a guy on an island. They might even go all the way back and do the 2 checks outside of Tojo Falls. I don't know. Like, I might save scum it. It's a long way to go for 2 checks. But at this point, there's a very good chance that Surf is got our HMO2 behind it on one of these Surf locked checks. My money for the moment is on the ice. The Waterstone Cave in the Ruins of Alph.
Oh, that's true. Pointing out in chat that we haven't done Mystery Egg check either.
We have done Mystery Egg check. It was a TM, and it got saved some scummed away before they even checked it.
I don't know if Baby's done it yet. So that might be where he's heading right now. But the other thing to talk about with Surf is that while Surf is very good, we don't have Northern Johto access. Baby K, as far as it seems like Baby K is going with the line of trying to stay in logic, which is very, very like it's a logical thing to do. Get it? But that like if Smitty finds Fly, that's gonna give him a huge advantage. Baby has a huge advantage right now because of Surf. But but there's only so many checks that you can do with Surf without going to Northern Johto.
It's worth noting that Northern Johto is only out of logic for HMO2. It's in logic for the rest of the seed. Sure. We do have Northern Johto access by way of pass and SS tickets. It's just let's see what that it was. Oh, it was Drill Pack. Okay. That is very good.
Granted, I mean, the thing is like with the other TMs you have, do you even use it?
You might. It depends on if you can find something worth swapping to. Like if he goes and surfs in the harbor at Surge's city. I always get the name wrong. If he goes and surfs and finds a level 38 Dodrio, yeah.
Yeah. If you find something where it's going to give you stab, oh yeah, you use it. Otherwise,
you find Dodrio or you find a Zapdos. Honestly, you find something like an Ursaring, and I would teach that to Ursaring too.
Yeah, I mean, the consideration is the fact that Smitty has that high jump kick and Baby doesn't, so.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it is worth mentioning that Smitty could still find Fly up there. Like, he could just luck into it. And it turns out that Squirt Bottle is one of the 2 checks in Slowpoke Well, and that's how you're supposed to get there for the Fly logic. Like, that is totally a thing that could happen. But it's reliant on the Squirt Bottle being in one of the, 12 or so checks that the Surf Strength combination has unlocked for us without going to Northern Johto.
Yeah, and I mean, it should not be understated that, here's the thing, right? Right now, Baby has a pretty big advantage with this Surf. However, if those checks don't result in anything meaningful, that advantage doesn't really mean much at all. Well, besides the fact that Surf is obviously a very powerful move to have on your main.
So Baby has also save scummed all the way back to the Kenya turn-in, which means he's also given up the Drill Peck TMs. But he actually knows what they are, so if he gets Fly, he could go back there later if he finds something that's good to use it on.
Yeah, so these 2 checks are one of the other things that Baby has access to that Smitty just doesn't yet. And we don't know. Okay, there's another badge for Smitty. I mean, it's a as someone has described it, it is a required piece of garbage. It does absolutely nothing for you, but you have it now, and you need to have it.
Yep, it is a Kanto badge, meaning that it doesn't open any checks. The one exception is that if there is only 7 badges before the Rocket Underground or the Rocket Tower, I should say, and all the other badges are behind it, then it is required. Not very common, but still technically possible.
Well, not to mention that 7 badges would let us go to Ice Path, and we already have Strength.
Yeah, that's true too. I think we're hearing a lot of Smitty's Discord notifications. I'm sure everybody in the chat is hearing it and looking to their Discord like, oh, somebody's messaged me. Oh, no. Dang it. So Smitty's just finished climbing the lighthouse, which is not a bad move in full item. In key item, you never want to do it if you can get away with not doing it. But in full item, there's like 6 checks or something there.
Alright, let's see.
I mean, theoretically, let's see if we can swap over the audio to listen in on babyk for a little bit. Smitty is probably ahead, but they're doing enough different... Oh, wait, hold up. No, Smitty's about to go do Burnt Tower, so we probably want to leave it on that so we can hear the roamers. But after that, we might want to swap it over to Baby for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you said at this point. I mean, here's the thing, right? I agree with you. Smitty has been ahead for most of this race, and part of that is because of the Cloister. Part of that is just because of movement efficiency choices that he made. Like, you know, it's just kind of where it's at right now. But if either of these checks that Baby is about to do are something important, that story immediately changes.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think Surf is powerful enough that the story probably has actually immediately changed anyways. I'm just waiting to swap over to Baby's audio, specifically so we can take a listen to the roamers, and then somebody in chat can tell us what they are, because I can recognize, like, one cry, and that's it.
I can recognize one cry. If it's a Sneasel, I will let you know.
Yeah, so I can recognize one cry as well, and it's Mewtwo. The problem with Mewtwo is that Mewtwo's cry sounds fairly similar, not entirely, but fairly similar to Mew, and sounds almost identical to Parasect. Yes, thank you. So there's a special kind of pain when you think that you've got a Mewtwo roamer, you go and spend 10 minutes looking for it and taunting it out, and it's a Parasect. Alright, here we go. Let's take a listen.
None of those were Sneasel. That's all I know.
I don't think any of them were Mewtwo either, but I actually had a hard time hearing them.
I'll also say, I mean, at this point, like, Smitty, don't you do it. Okay, for a second I thought that someone was gonna fight Morty. My panic alarm started going off. So the thing with Smitty right now is that I think there are very, very few roamers that would convince Smitty to switch off of this Gator.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, it would need to be something kind of astounding.
Yeah, I agree, Pry. I think that one of them might have been... I think it was some electric type. Oh, the first one was Aerodactyl? I'm not gonna lie, Dropek Aerodactyl sounds pretty sweet.
Alright, well, babyk is doing the Ice Stone check, which is good for a couple reasons. First off, I called Fly being here, so we'll see if I'm right. But second, this also means you can get rid of the Ice Stone in your bags, which is always kind of nice.
Waterstone.
Yeah.
HMO1.
I was close.
Not something relevant to right now, but as soon as we find Hive Badge, that's a big deal.
That's an extremely big deal. I was close. I said HMO2, and there was HMO1. Also, yes, you are right. It is a Water Stone, not an Ice Stone. My brain is stuck in a different game.
You're good. So Smitty is actually in an unfortunate situation right now because he doesn't have Surf. He's actually running out of checks to do in Northern Johto. So I think that very soon we might see Smitty turn back and maybe start to piece together that, hey, he missed Surf somewhere.
Yeah, like, the thing that would save him the most right now is if he finds the Squirt Bottle. Because it would tell him both, A, hey, you've missed Fly, but also it would mean that he can get back to Lower Johto a lot faster. Because as it stands right now, he's going to have to go all the way back from, I'm assuming he's going to end up in Mahogany before he's done. He's going to have to go all the way back from Mahogany to Olivine, take the boat back to Kanto, and then run back up to Saffron and take the magnet train back to Goldenrod, and then go all the way through reverse Lower Johto to get to Surf. Like, he is about as far from Surf as you can physically be in this game.
Well, I also think that, I mean, so he already went to Mahogany, right? He went to Mahogany, checked the route above it to see if that item was anything important.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It wasn't. So I'm willing to bet that I think if I'm Smitty right now, first off, I think one of the dangerous things, babyk found the card key.
That's
that's important. That means that you can get into Tin Tower without fighting Morty.
Take a deep breath. There it is. There's your fly.
Oh, no.
There's your fly. He found HMO2 in the basement of Slowpoke Well. babyk is ahead. Like, babyk is just flat out ahead at this point. He's miles ahead. Like, really, the only hope Smitty had was that babyk finds the squirt bottle, and then Smitty finds Fly up where he is right now. Like, that was really his biggest hope. He's not out of this race by any means. There's still a lot of race to go, and anything can happen. But babyk is well ahead at this point.
Yeah. The big question is just going to be, A, how long it takes Smitty to decide to turn around and find Surf. B, I mean, Baby still hasn't main swapped. If any of the Kanto leaders have anything important, he cannot get it until he main swaps. I'm willing to that.
It looks like he's going to the harbor right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he surfs in this area until he finds one of the high level 30s that's worth swapping to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that does kind of beg the question of if there is one worth swapping to right now.
How about a Tauros?
Everything's coming up, Tauros.
How about a Tauros and he knows where to find the drill peck TM?
Oh no. Yeah, that's gonna be strength drill peck Tauros. That'll mess up a lot of Kanto leaders. E-Speed Tauros!
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
And he's got a Bone Ring. Oh dear.
And Shadow Ball. Yeah, no.
Drill Peck, Shadow Ball, Extreme Speed, Bone Meringue as a Tauros. He would be absolutely set if that's what he goes for. And even if he doesn't go all the way back for even if he doesn't fly back for Drill Peck, this thing is still a monster.
Oh yeah, he doesn't need it. Like, he should get it, but he doesn't need it. He should teach strength.
He should also teach.
Is he gonna go headbutt instead?
I actually like that decision because you can teach over it if something else shows up.
True. I mean, E-Speed is underwhelming. It's not like the best thing in the world, but gosh, you'd rather have it than not. Like.
Yeah, and the simple fact of the matter is that babyk made the decision to go do the Kenya quest. We were both like, this is a long way to go for one check. Well, that one check turned out to be Surf. Smitty decided, don't worry about that. I'll take the check density out in Johto and just play for that. And it hasn't paid off for him. He's found a badge or two. Like, that's not nothing. But Surf and Fly are just so big that he's just behind. It's unfortunate, but he just is. And while he's not out of it until the game is over, he's got a mountain to climb if he wants to get back in this.
I will say one kind of important thing is that now that babyk has Fly, they're probably going to be focusing more on quick checks than anything else. Which means that if my personal tendencies and a lot of people's personal tendencies are correct, he's probably not going to find that mineral badge for a while. So that's something that Smitty has on him.
Yeah, the Kimono Girls are a relatively quick check once you are a high level, but it's still a check that people prefer to skip if they can. So he's got the Tauros that would be able to one-shot pretty much everything in those fights, but it's still very much a case of, well, I don't want to, so I'm not going to. Meanwhile, babyk is giving Smitty a bit of a fighting chance by hitting an optional. When you take the boat from Kanto back to Johto, you have both sets of trainers on the boat at the same time. It just happens. So if you're not ready for it, sometimes you'll walk right into one.
Pointed out in the chat, very true fact, Smitty thought Morty. Morty was a scam. Morty is always a scam. I don't know why anybody ever decides to fight Morty. It's a bad idea. So a couple things that Baby can look to do at this point. So first off, my personal thought, and I don't know if Baby is going to be on the same path, is that he just caught a new main. He probably could use some levels on it. He probably could use some stat XP on it. And you've got a lot of really dense checks in the rocket sequences. So that's personally where I think I'd be going. But, I mean, you know, I'm not in the race, so I don't really know for sure.
No, but it is a very good option. Doing Lake of Rage, Rocket Underground is a bunch of checks and a bunch of experience. Like, it wouldn't be a ton of experience for a level 36, given that those encounters are like level 20. But it's not a bad option.
Well, and we don't have enough badges yet. I completely forgot. We don't have enough badges to activate the rocket tower sequence. I was going to say he has the radio card, so he could go do that, but he can't. He only has 3 badges.
Yeah. No, he has the key card, but honestly, a lot of people, with the way that we've set up the logic for this tournament settings, a lot of people will actually wait until they have both the key card and the basement key before doing the rocket stuff, just so that you can knock it all out at once. Meanwhile, Smitty's hit an optional.
Huh, I actually haven't seen that. I don't know. Like, typically the big thing is, like, even more so than having both card key and basement key, in my opinion, just having card key is the big thing, right? You do not want to fight all those rockets in the basement.
Oh,
and
no.
The card key is the thing that makes sure that you don't have to. Granted, It also, Smitty seems to have caught on to the fact that he missed something. I'm really kind of surprised. I thought that he was going to go fight Kanto leaders, but it turns out, nope, he feels like he might have missed something on Kenya as well.
Yeah, I thought that as well, but he went back to Olivine. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong screen. Yeah, no, he's making his way back through Kenya. Honestly, I do think that the Kenya play was going to just be his correct decision, even if I didn't know anything, just because it's been sitting there for a long time. It was open relatively early, and he's just put it off. And the remaining checks he has in Kanto are kind of ugh.
I'm just interested because the thing there's a very weird thing happening where basically, like, the past half hour of checks, Baby and Smitty basically just swapped. Like, Smitty is about to do all of the things that Baby has been doing for the past half hour, and Baby's about to do all of the things that Smitty has been doing for the past half hour.
The trade-off there, though, is that I think Baby has the better Pokemon, so I think he's going to be able to do it faster.
Definitely agreed. The Stab Surf Stab Surf does things. But, yeah, for Alligator still, you don't want to be using Surf as much as your physical moves. So, yeah, definitely I'd say that Baby probably has a little bit of an advantage. But, I mean, the Gator's still good. He's not going to miss out on much. So it kind of depends on, you know, kind of where checks go from here. And I will say that, you know, in the beginning of the game, Smitty was moving a little bit faster. So I'm interested to see kind of like once all this shakes out, how we think the runners are comparing to each other. Because going into this whole sequence, Smitty was a chunk ahead.
Yeah. once they sync back up, it's going to be really interesting to see both where they are and what they choose to do next. I think that babyk is still a little bit ahead, but at the same time, I think babyk is going to definitely not get the mineral badge nearly as fast as Smitty did. And the mineral badge is required. It's the only Johto badge that doesn't lock an HM, so it's not as required, but it's still required by the end of the day. So he can put that off for a long time without too much punishment, again, unless there's only 7 or 8 badges before Rocket Tower and Ice Cave. But odds are good. He can probably miss that check for a while and not really take too much punishment for it. Whereas Smitty missing that Surf and Smitty going to eventually find Fly, but it's going to take him a little bit. Those are checks that are going to sort of leave him further behind for not getting those as quickly as babyk did.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about efficiency, and babyk, because he already had Surf on his first visit to Northern Johto, is going to be a lot more efficient. Snowbear in chat arguing that the Feraligatr actually might have been that the Feraligatr might actually be better than the Tauros at this point. I don't know, honestly. I think either way, you kind of have to argue. Like, I think it should be noted that there is a good argument in either way to say that one of these mains is better than the other. At the end of the day, they're both going to get the job done, unless one of them particularly like finds something to struggle against on red. I'm not too worried for either of them.
Yeah, and it is entirely possible that I am overvaluing or undervaluing some of these Pokemon. So I could be very incorrect, but my inclination, based on the little I understand of this game, is that I think the Tauros' moveset is going to be better, and I think its base attack is just higher.
I don't know. I mean, high jump kick's really good. That's Clear Bell. Smitty doesn't have that.
Not yet. Smitty doesn't have that, but Smitty's going to find it relatively easily. Mount Mortar is one of the densest check locations in the game. Once you have Surf, going to Mount Mortar is a no-brainer, and he's going to find it right outside of that. I'm not too concerned about that. Like, on the scale of 1 to 10, I'd be concerned about that for like a 2 or 3 in terms of when he finds it and how quickly, and it would be closer to like a 7 for babyk missing the Kimono Girls.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really, like, there's a really big deal in determining whether, like, how fast Baby is going to end up checking the Kimono Girls, right? Because, just reading chat, making sure that our trackers are up to date. It does appear as though they are. I want to talk about that HM05 and Rainbow Badge here in a second. But, so babyk right now, because he has Clear Bell and Rainbow Wing, that's really strongly pointing us to Tin Tower, which both of their mains can probably handle at this point, and would also be a decent chunk of experience and a lot of checks.
Yep, unless something shows up at the Rocket Underground, though, you know what they're gonna have to do in order to get there. Also, I just want to go ahead and say, I need to listen to Snowbear more. He was right. I checked. Feraligator's base attack is 105 and Tauros's is 100.
What about speeds?
For speed, Feraligator is 78 for some reason, and Tauros is 110. So Tauros is much faster.
Yeah, and stab on your normal type moves is good.
Yeah. Feraligator does get Stab Surf, which again, like, never discount Stab Surf, no matter who the Pokemon is. But
I mean, I think we can argue that all day over which main here is better. I think the thing that is inarguable here is that both of them is good. Both of them are good.
Both of them are very good. Also, hey, look where Smitty is.
Yeah.
It's a Mr. Mime.
Mr. Crimes.
That would actually be a really interesting evolution name. It's better than Mr. Rhyme. Game Freak would never go for it, but it's much more interesting than, well, I do like Rhyme as a concept.
All right, here we go. I want just a full out, like, Eevee. Give this Mr. Mime the Eevee treatment. We need Mr. Rhymes, Mr. Crimes, Mr. Grimes.
Are you Poison Psychic Mr. Mime?
Yes, please, Mr. Grimes.
Is Mr. Clean's arch nemesis. One thing that I will say, because we've got a minute while these two sort of wrap up and babyk starts getting into the underground. He's got a couple of fights ahead of him. One thing I will say, total apropos of nothing related to this, but I am just begging Game Freak for one of the upcoming gens, even Gen 9, which was just announced. I am begging them, please have your starters start as the standard Fire, Water, Grass trio. And by the end of it, have all three of them be their standard type and dragon.
That's cursed. I kind of hate that opinion. I'm not going to.
I would, first off, imagine the possible Pokemon designs. So that'd be awesome. Second, they'd all resist each other and all be weak to each other because Dragon resists the 4 starter types, I'm counting Electric, and is weak to itself. That would be so cool. Do it, you cowards.
Don't ask why Tauros can fly. It can, and if you can't see that, obviously you don't believe in Christmas. So there you go.
Or if you want the real answer, every Pokemon can learn every TM and HM. But I like his answer better.
Yeah, Ethan pointing out, Smitty still hasn't done the strength checks in Mount Mortar. Here's the thing, though. While those checks are important, there's a good density of them. He will do it eventually. And none of them are stopping him from doing any other checks right now. Yes, Flash is important. But we do not have Zephyr Badge. And you can walk in the dark. Like, there are plenty of resources online. You know, anybody who's done a couple of these probably has figured out how to do most of the stuff in the dark with decent efficiency. That's Pokegear. So, one of the things that we talked about early in the game was the fact that the things that we need in order to beat the game are all 16 badges and then access to West Johto. West Kanto, blah, sorry. But the way to access Western Kanto at this point, they need the Pokegear, the radio card, and the expansion card. The reason is that those are the 3 things that replace the Pokeflute from the original games to wake up the Snorlax and gain access to Diglett Cave, which is what lets us get from Vermilion to Pallet and Pewter and, you know, fight Brock and all that. So, that's 1/3 of the way to West Kanto. So that's a really big time important thing, especially since there's also plenty of just decent, really easy checks to get in Western Kanto. One of the big questions that's going to happen here is at the bottom of Mahogany is if we are going to see any rocket skips. So there are 2 infamous skips that people have used over the years to kind of shorten their time with our good old friends Team Rocket. ERC skip and the Monty skip, which is less known and probably less popular. ERC skip is where we just grab all the items out of the rocket hideout and we walk away. We do not fight any of the rockets. We do not activate the sequence where we save the electrodes. We might just not care. That's one of those things where if you end up guessing that there's nothing down there and you're wrong, you're gonna pay for it. But if you end up running on the assumption that there's nothing down there and you're right, you could win off the back of it. Priya, that rocket at the computer gives you a password that you need in order to complete this rocket sequence. So yes, it is a required fight. There's Zephyr Badge. How often do people skip it? I honestly don't know. That is a hard question to do. It's kind of rare. It's one of those things where, like, if you think you're really far behind, it's a good way to catch up. But it's really up to you. For the Monty skip, which is a little bit less popular, it's where you get to the point where you fight this rocket that Baby is about to fight, and then you just escape rope out because you don't want to waste the time to save the electrodes, which is a little bit less risky, but also a little bit less, like, beneficial. It usually doesn't pay off. Nobody's correct. I'd say that, like, skipping things in the rocket sequence is one of those things that probably, in all honesty, kind of is a little bit of a desperation play. Like, if you think you're really behind, you can basically take a roll of the dice, and if you win that roll of the dice, you can end up significantly cutting into your opponent's lead. Smitty doing some Tin Tower checks here. Oh, optional. Yeah, there are 4 items that you miss out on if you don't, if you skip the end of the rocket sequence here. You know, it's only 4 items, but if items is important, you lose a lot of time.
Yep, it is the... I'm back, by the way. Hi. So it's the item that you get for beating the electrodes, the 2 items off price, and the item off the guard to the north.
You can see Smitty here. This is one of the 2 places inside Tin Tower where you'll see a lot of people save and then reset if the item ends up being bad. We found Squirt Bottle.
Which is interesting because it's not useful anymore.
Yeah, that's literally useless. Well, no, it's actually completely useless.
So it's not completely useless. There is a single check. Talking to the guy that normally gives Rock Smash is one check that they need that item for. They don't need to go buy Rock Smash. They've already found it. And between Fly and the fact they have the access with both the pass and the ticket, it's not going to give them access to anything else, but that one check, that one item, might be something. Oh, and there's the Cascade Badge.
Not to mention that the Squirt Bottle also puts Smash in Logic. We already have it, but it was out of Logic until now.
Yep.
Yeah, Snowbear, that's kind of what we were talking about. Yes, you do need to talk to that guy in order to buy Rock Smash, but we picked up a Rock Smash off the ground really early in the game. So, don't know if you didn't remember that or not. You probably did, but...
Yep. So, it's one of those things where it's... Even if you don't find the Squirt Bottle, at some point you just basically have to assume that it's in Logic and you missed the Squirt Bottle somewhere. it doesn't physically restrict them from anything else. It's just that knowledge of what is/is not in logic. And the Ho-Oh's a B-drill. That's a ripoff.
Neither of our players would switch to the Ho-Oh unless it was something insane anyway.
No, but you always want the legendary to be something at least decent.
I don't know.
Alright, Smitty's now doing Rocket Underground. What do you want to bet that babyk is about to go do 10 Tower? Actually, probably not, because you'd have to do Morty first.
Yeah, the most actually, the most efficient thing for babyk to do right now would actually probably be Ice Path. I want to see him do Ice Path because here's the thing, right? In order to do Tin Tower, we have to fight Morty. And we've already talked about how bad an idea that is. So, you know.
I mean, he can't do that because he doesn't have 7 badges. He's only sitting on 5 badges, so he's actually going up the lighthouse again to give the secret medicine to Jasmine.
That actually is a fine play as well, because has he been up? Is this his first trip to the lighthouse?
I want to say... Well, I was going to say no, but the answer is yes. There's the trainers.
So this is actually a good bit more efficient than Smitty was able to be because of the fact that Baby got served first. So this is kind of like, again, we're going to see this every once in a while throughout the race, just ripples of that tiny little bit of a difference between when Baby got served and when Smitty got served. Some of these checks, Baby is just going to be able to do more efficiently because he hasn't done them yet.
That's only true, though, if Smitty ends up going back to do Jasmine. If they manage to find all of the badges and he doesn't struggle badly enough to think, okay, I should probably go back and get Jasmine, then actually Smitty is going to have spent less time between the Lighthouse and the Jasmine fight, but there's no way to have known that ahead of time. It's just chance and luck.
I mean, also, like, usually we get to... So the way that these FIRs usually work, for anybody who doesn't know, is you do usually get to a point near the end of the race where, like, you have a bunch of gym leaders left, a bunch of really annoying, really long checks, and it's just kind of what your gut tells you to do as to what you should do first. Is there, like, a hierarchy or, like, things that you should probably do first, like, because they're more efficient? Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's kind of whatever. I mean, you know, how much faster really is, like, Jasmine than, say, someone like Misty or someone like Blue, right?
Yep. And if you want a good example of this, by the way, the race on SpeedGaming 1 that happened earlier today, which you'll also get to hear my lovely voice attached to, ended very much in that it was an Elite Four seed. So there was a good half hour of the two runners literally running around checking every awful, annoying, don't want to do it check in the game. And then eventually, at pretty much the same time, they both abandoned doing that and was like, I'm just going to go do the Elite Four now. So at this point, we're basically just seeing a lot of sort of retread. Smitty is going to continue through the Rocket Underground. I don't expect that he's going to bail out early. Orphaning those 4 checks is generally just not worth it. At least I've never had it be worth it. He might think he's far enough behind, though, if he thinks that babyk went and got a... If he thinks babyk went and got served way earlier than he did, he might be worried about how far behind he is or is not. But I still don't expect it, especially with him doing the trainers. Meanwhile, we're going to get to actually see something new with babyk. and it is going to be Jasmine, or Author Bob, as the randomizer has apparently decided to name her. If this turns into a badge, that will be really big for a couple of different things. One other place that I wouldn't be surprised to see babyk go if this isn't a badge is the Ruins of Al Flash Chamber. But if this turns into a badge, that opens up both Ice Tunnel and it opens up Rocket Tower. And while he would be doing Rocket Tower without the basement key, it's a max potion. That's a shame. While he'd be doing Rocket Tower without the basement key, it's still a good 5 or 6 checks. He is going back to Goldenrod. I wonder if he's going to do the Soft Sand Girls. Like, it's a weird check. I wouldn't think that it's something that you would do when you have so many other yeah, no, he's flying away. Welcome, SpeedGaming 3's raiding party. You have walked right into the middle of a Pokemon Crystal Full Item Randomizer between the original Smitty and babyk008. We're about an hour and a half into the seed. It's a little hard to tell who's ahead right now. babyk found Surf and Fly significantly earlier than Smitty did, but Smitty's been making some headway back with what he's been doing. It's hard to tell exactly who's ahead. babyk is doing that flash check that I mentioned earlier as being probably a solid idea, so we'll see if anything comes of this. They're both... no. He's 1 badge away from starting the Rocket Underground, but original Smitty has his 7 badges now, so as soon as he's done with Rocket Underground, with the Rocket Base, the Rocket Tower will be open, as will Ice Path, and they have strength, so that's not a terrible option.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages that Smitty is kind of keeping from the fact that he did those Kimono Girls early. Just the fact that he has that mineral badge. I mean, you know, the mineral badge isn't unlocking that many checks for him, but it's another badge, and you only need 7 to unlock that part of the game.
Yep. If babyk does the Kimono Girls, he'll find the mineral badge. If he does Morty into the 10 Tower, he will find the Cascade Badge. I don't expect either of those to happen very soon, though, just because nobody likes to do those checks. They're not particularly quick, and you can bypass Morty by instead gaining the Rocket Tower check.
Yeah, so in order to unlock 10 Tower, you need a couple things. You need the Clear Bell, the Rainbow Badge, and then you need to either defeat the Rocket Tower sequence in Goldenrod, which requires you to have 7 badges, or you need to defeat Morty. And no one likes fighting Morty because he's a scam. So, you know.
For anybody who's not associated with it, he's actually just really slow.
No, he's a scam.
There's 3 trainers before him, one of whom has 5 Pokemon, and then Morty himself has 4 and only gives 2 items. It's just a long set of checks for probably
no reward ever.
I'm going to need you to dial the memes back about 3 notches, please.
No. Why was I allowed on this broadcast if we didn't want memes?
babyk is doing that thing that I always do, where I'm trying to move down 1 tile, but I keep just spinning in place and then turning back into the wall and slamming my head into it. That's always fun.
That'll tick up your bonk counter.
Yeah, just a little bit. I've yet to finish one of these seeds without having a bonk counter over 1100.
I don't look at my bonk counter because it saddens me.
Alright, it looks like babyk is on their way probably to Cianwood, which, once you have Fly, is not a terrible option as long as you have Strength. He's already done the Jasmine conversation up at the lighthouse, so he does have everything he needs to get every item at Cianwood, and then he can fly away once he's done, so it's not going to cost him just a ton of time.
Yeah, not to mention that we already have strength, so Chuck's in play. I don't think we'll go for that this early, but getting the fly point certainly isn't a bad idea.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he does go and get Chuck this early, just because coming down here for 1 check doesn't really feel worth it to me, but coming down here for 4, I mean, the fights there's like 5 fights, but they're like 1 or 2 Pokemon each. They're relatively quick.
Sweet, $600 Ultra Ball.
Yep. Meanwhile, the original Smitty has gotten out of the Rocket Underground and has managed to get their 7th badge, so they're on their way to Ice Cave and then through onto Blackthorn. I kind of think that this has put Smitty back in the lead.
Yeah, I think this play from Smitty is a lot better than what babyk is doing. Like, if babyk gets rewarded for fighting Chuck right now, that's all well and good. But, like, in my opinion, the person who is playing this a little bit cleaner and doing the more efficient checks right now is Smitty.
Well, and it's mostly just because, like, I don't dislike what babyk is doing based on the knowledge that they have. Because, like, the knowledge they have is you can go do Morty into Tin Tower, but, like, if you can get 1 more badge, you can get Tin Tower without doing Morty, and that's so much faster. Or you can go do Kimono Girls, which, I mean, with a level 41 Tauros, you're going to one-shot everything, so it's probably a lot faster to do that anyways. But this is 4 checks for, like, not a ton of fighting. It's probably the most fight-efficient checks that he can be doing at this point. There's Waterfall. It's probably the most fight-efficient checks he can be doing at this point, and he did find Strength and Surf, so it's not completely out of the question that this might be something good.
Yeah, no, it's not out of the question. I don't disagree with what he's doing. I just, like, conventional theory of how to do these is just oh no, Smitty. Oh no.
It's fine.
Oh,
he
no.
didn't
We have to stop. We have to stop to mourn the loss of our ability to menu efficiently.
And he didn't want to get doing anyways. It's fine.
So we found the Pokedex, and the Pokedex is the most useless item in the world in this game.
It can be useful if you're like.
No, it's not. Stop
it's been useful for me a couple of times, but like most of the time it just screws up your menus because it adds a new item to your menu bar.
Anyway, what I was talking about was I think that, like, so while conventional thought process for the way that these FIR races tend to go is just once you have fly, your goal is to just maximize the number of checks you complete per second. Like, just efficiency. And Smitty's plays are kind of really, really leaning in to that ideology. Whereas I think babyk is kind of...
Hey, look at that. Look at that. Never punished.
Yeah. That is something that we will have to watch to see if Smitty does. I mean, not to mention the fact Smitty still has not gone back and got Flash. And still does not have the Rainbow Badge.
Right. Like, I don't think it was a bad move in terms of, like, trying to maximize their checks per second, except that the Tin Tower is sitting there as an option. Like, if you're not going to go for Tin Tower as your, like, Morty into Tin Tower, Cianwood was probably your best option sitting on the table. But I do think doing Morty into Tin Tower probably was going to be the more efficient use of your time.
Well, but has Baby already done Ice Path?
He couldn't get to Ice Path because he didn't have 7 badges. He literally just got the 7th badge off of Cianwood.
Well, never mind, you're right. Not a bad play.
Yeah, so the reason that the Pokedex screws up your menuing is because it adds another item to the top of your menu that reads Pokedex. When you don't have the Pokedex, that item reads Pokemon and it takes you to your party. So you're used to just going with the first option being your Pokemon option, and your second option being either Pokegear or your bag if you found the Pokegear. Once you have the Pokedex, everything goes down a notch, and suddenly your first item is just a actually relatively long load menu into the Pokedex, which you just immediately have to quit out of. So when we say that it messes up with your menuing, that's why.
Granted, a lot of that, like, the extra input to go down to your Pokemon menu isn't bad. The thing that's bad is that it messes with your muscle memory, essentially.
Yeah, the thing that's bad is that you forget that you've got the Pokedex, and then suddenly you're talking to the Pokedex, and suddenly you're talking to the Pokedex again. It's like, why did I open this menu again?
Aw, so the widow was a Sunkern.
Aw, it's the weakest Pokemon in the game.
Don't worry about it.
So the one squirt bottle item was TM05. Smitty went through to Ice Cave, did that area, and then did the path down back to. Now you've got me trying to say Little Root to Newbark Town. So he's done that. I didn't see much anything of value, to be honest with you. So if babyk can find something here at Rocket Tower, then that actually might be pretty good, because if Smitty hasn't done Rocket Tower by now, Smitty's probably waiting for the basement key. And if the basement key can be one of the 5 items you get after clearing the rockets out of here, and if that's the case, that's going to be kind of brutal.
He might also just be, like, he might just have other things on his mind. I will say, one thing that I'm not sure how I feel about with Smitty is that I think this is like the 3rd time he's flown to Mahogany. He should have just done these in one go. Like, conventional theory is like when you beat the Rocket hideout, you're already in Mahogany. Go ahead and fight Price. It's 2 fights. It's really not that bad. So I think that there's some slight inefficiencies there. Just kind of things to note. Not really anything that's going to set him majorly behind. But these are the kind of things that you have to think about, right? Especially if you want to make a really deep run into the tournament, these small efficiencies are things that you kind of have to start to polish up.
Yeah, and I don't think that for this, I don't think it's going to sway the race one way or the other, unless it ends up really tight. But I just, for the moment, I feel like it's probably not going to be the worst thing in the world that he's being slightly inefficient with some of his choice checks. That said, he is doing the 2 checks before Tojo Falls, because even though he has found the Waterfall HM, he has not found the Rising Badge.
Yeah, Rising Badge is kind of a pretty big ticket item here right now. Especially since, I mean, right now, like, yeah, we'd really like to have access to Western Kanto, but we only have one part of the Pokegear, which is a little bit unusual. Like, if I'm one of the runners now, I'm probably a little worried about that.
Yeah, it's not one of those seeds where you find all 16 badges before finding a single part of the Pokegear, but the fact that you've only found one up to this point is a little bit concerning, because you're doing all the really dense, high efficiency stuff, and so you gotta kind of start worrying. Okay, well, is the thing I'm looking for going to be on one of those single check, really slow sort of things, like the Soft Sand Girls or the Route 4 check?
Man, I want to see someone fight Nugget Bridge right now. I don't know why. I just have an intense burning desire to see that happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the strength of the Pokemon they've got, you're probably looking at a 5-minute Nugget Bridge, which is not super long, but it's also not terribly quick either. There's the Boulder Badge.
We found the B item.
Actually, it occurs to me, why did he not already have that check?
I mean, I think that's also kind of a small inefficiency thing, right? When he escape roped out of there, he probably should have just gone immediately back in. Pick that up. Like, just small efficiencies. Like I said, I mean, are you wasting much time? No, but you're wasting, like, the time that it takes you to menu and fly to Ekritique, the time that it takes to walk from the Pokemon Center to the Tin Tower, to the Burn Tower in Ekritique, the time that it takes to go down there. I mean, you know, like, if you had done that earlier, you probably would have saved yourself a good, like, I mean, at least 30, 40 seconds.
It's just a weird one because he's definitely already done Burnt Tower because he's done Tin Tower and he's done Morty. Like, it's just, and we had strength before leaving Mr. Pokemon's house. So it's one of those things where it's like, he just made he either forgot or he made the decision to not walk the 3 feet over to push the strength boulder. And it's just a very odd decision.
I mean, it makes sense. It's fine to not, like, think about it, or to not, like, you know, kind of be in your head and think, these are the checks I want to do right now, this is the check I want to do right now. But like I said, I mean, it's just routing. You have to start thinking about routing on the fly. And like I said, a lot of the races in this tournament, when it gets really close, you're gonna have to ask yourself, well, okay, I lost 30 seconds because I didn't do these 2 things together. I lost 30 seconds because I didn't do these 2 things together. And you keep that thought process going and going and going, and eventually you're like, you can potentially be like 10, 15 minutes behind your opponent.
Yeah. And it's worth noting that, like, they're still doing a pretty good job for this seed. This seed has not been particularly kind.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, I mean, the fact that Surf's location was kind of mean. Like, yeah. Let's not get over that. We are by no means saying that they're not playing, like, they're not doing a good job. It's just, like, it's the little refined things that could be better. And honestly, yeah, like, we're not talking about the difference between first and last in the tournament. We're talking about the difference between, like, top 5 and top 10. Like, that's just, and that's the kind of things that you have to start thinking about and you want to be watching for. Like, especially if you're a newer runner trying to do these, like, you know, first step to doing these is just join the community and do it. But then, you know, if you want to get better at it, these are the kinds of things that you have to start asking.
Yep. Meanwhile, babyk went and checked the surf item at just south of Goldenrod. Or it is Goldenrod, right? My brain
yes.
literally stopped working.
Goldenrod.
Yes, Goldenrod. Check the surf item and then didn't bother to go to the Soft Sand Girls. Normally, it's like, do all the checks in the same area when you're there, but honestly, I think that's probably smart. Soft Sand Girls are a long set of fights for one check. You know where they are. Just come back to them later. If you're down to, like, no checks left between that and, like, doing, I don't know, the Elite Four, then do Soft Sand Girls, but, like, Soft Sand Girls, I always put off till the very end.
Wait, do we have Silverwing? I don't think we do.
I've not seen Silverwing.
Do you mean Rainbow Wing, Ethan? Oh. I have no idea. Sorry, if he found that, I missed it.
It's entirely possible that it's in Rocket Tower. I didn't see it either. There's a lot going on, and the names only appear on screen for like half a second.
Look, how do you expect us to? The rocket sequence is the boring part of the game. We're not we're gonna miss something. The Team Rocket check, I think, is just when you defeat the Goldenrod Rockets, right?
There's 2. You get 1 for defeating the admin, and then you get 1 for defeating the fake director. On the tracker, yes, this defeating the rocket here, that is defeating the admin is the Team Rocket check. babyk is gonna get to see what the Suicune was. Neither of us could identify it, but I mean, again, we can only recognize like 2 cards each. It's a Magikarp. That's what it was in the other race I commented too. What's going on here? What kind of randomizer is this?
I'm just upset he didn't catch it and run it.
Oh, there's no chance.
Hey, Drill Peck Surf Gyarados would slap. At this rate, I agree with you. You shouldn't do it. But still.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you're not wrong if he didn't already have the Tauros. But the Tauros is like 10 levels higher and also really freaking good.
Yeah, so I just saw Smitty. I mean, Smitty just did all of the post-admin checks for the Goldenrod sequence, and there wasn't a Silverwing there. So, if Baby does have the Silverwing, which I'm not gonna 100% say for certain that he does or that he doesn't.
babyk just took the wrong route through this floor.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's again one of the like small inefficiencies. Like, that's just kind of what we're talking about. It's just tiny things adding up.
He's apparently found this upgrade valuable enough to toss an item for it.
Oh no, I think I do that all the time. That I don't think he wants the upgrade. It's that he wants to walk by that path.
Oh, that makes more sense. I normally just get it when I get the item on the next floor.
Yeah, it's just in order to if you want to clear that most efficiently, I think you need to empty that out so that you can grab that item and then get the item in the lower right-hand corner of that room.
Yeah, I guess you can save Scumbag over this hop. Alright, both of them have cleared the tower, neither of them has the basement key yet, so neither of them are going that way.
Oh, Smitty didn't get the Silverwing from False Director, did he?
From False Director? No. False Director was something. I didn't see what it was because his bag was full.
Oh yeah, then it wouldn't have been Silverwing.
Yeah, so it looks like Smitty is now making the play to Cianwood, which is going to net him a badge. Not a terrible payoff, but like you're going to have to do it, so.
Did Smitty pause for that swimmer right there on the way to Cianwood?
I didn't actually notice.
He did. That swimmer, there's a path between Olivine and Cianwood that if you take it, you never hit any of the spinners as long as you keep going. That's something that that's kind of something that you learn after just doing a bunch of these. Smitty's now going through and fighting Chuck. We already know what this is because Baby's already done it.
Yep. Meanwhile, Baby is going to be doing the Ho-Oh fight. And then, I don't think Smitty has gone to the Ho-Oh chamber, but honestly, every time I'm done with Tin Tower and I can get there, Ho-Oh chamber is my next stop.
Yeah, it is also important to note that, I mean, there's 2 big items that Baby has that Smitty has everything that he needs and has been to the areas where they are. He just doesn't have them yet. I don't know if that's because he missed a check or if he is waiting on something. Like, I mean, so for the Mount Mortar Strength Chamber, it makes sense. Like, if he doesn't think that those are anything too important, like, in theory, it might be slightly more efficient to go back and do all of Mount Mortar in one go once you have Waterfall. But, I mean, you're waiting a while on that. And if there's something important in there for you, you're waiting a long time for it.
Yep. So we're almost 2 hours in now, so I feel like this is a good time to sort of stop and take stock of where we are and what the racers have on each other. So as it sits, babyk is sitting on 8 badges and 5 of the 7 HMs. He's missing both Whirlpool and Waterfall. Meanwhile, Smitty is sitting on, if I can count correctly, also 8 badges, but it is a different set of 8 badges. And is sitting on 5 HMs, but it's a different set of 5 HMs. He's missing Whirlpool and Flash. Now, as for where the items that they are different are, I think probably Smitty has more of an advantage in that regard, in that the items that he hasn't found yet are places that he's definitely going to wind up at eventually. Especially because Flash doesn't physically lock more than 4 items. Like, logically it'll lock a couple more items, but physically it'll only lock 4. And I think we've seen the Flash Chamber already, and it wasn't anything interesting. Meanwhile, the badges that babyk are missing are a little bit more significant. There's the Boulder Badge, which is in the basement of the Burn Tower, which he's probably not going to do until he goes and does Morty, just flat out in general. And
no, we're not fighting Morty.
And he's missing the Mineral Badge, which comes from the Kimono Girls, which is another check that he's probably not going to do for a while, because nobody likes to do those checks. It's just the fact of the situation. So, in terms of who's missing what, I feel like Smitty's probably got a stronger position, because the things that he is missing that babyk has are more likely to be checked and easier to get to than the things that Baby is missing that Smitty has, if that makes sense.
That is, of course, assuming that Smitty hasn't, like, forgotten one of those locations that he's going to check. But I think he's about to get Flash here, so.
Ooh, that was weird. Did you see that?
No.
babyk pushed the boulder on the top floor all the way up next to the hole, and then didn't push it in.
Oh. That's a mistake. Alright, that's Flash for Smitty. Rainbow Badge is on Item Finder, correct? If someone knows in chat.
I believe so.
Yeah, because that's... Given the number of times that Smitty's gone to Ekritique, I really think he just forgot about that check.
I think you might be right. He might have already thought he did it, which is a big problem if that's the case, because it's so easy to accidentally abandon. babyk is reset. Oh, okay, I see what he did. Because it's so easy to not be able to remember which item you've missed. And if that's the case, he's gonna have a hard time. Like, if he has actually, if he thinks he's done the item finder check and hasn't, I don't know how he wins. Like, just straight up, if he thinks he's done the item finder check and he hasn't, I don't know how he wins this.
Yeah, I mean, there's always tools, like, it kind of depends. I mean, I know Ekritique personally is one of the things that I usually check whenever I think I might have missed something, that and, like, Mortar and stuff. So, I mean, but, you know, that's because I have a history of trying to spend as little time in Ekritique as possible. Revive chamber. Do we not have an escape rope for the original Smitty?
I think he wanted the fast exit out the main entrance so he could go straight over to the Flash Cave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was intentional. They picked up an Ice Beam TM at some point. It's a shame that neither of them can really make use of it.
Yeah, I mean, in a strange circumstance, both of our runners are running physical pokes, which is definitely not necessarily common.
Yep, so Baby K is now doing the Dark Cave 45-46 checks that Smitty did a while ago. Smitty, meanwhile, is headed back towards Lavender Town. I'm not entirely certain what
I was going to actually say this earlier. Neither of our runners have done Rock Tunnel.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm so used to people.
That's a massive amount of checks. Like, I mean, at this rate, like, it's not actually that many. But, like...
Yeah, it's 5
for
checks.
this point in the game, that is one of the last, like, really dense check locations in the game.
Yep. And the Pokemon that was guarding it was the level 35 Tauros, which probably had extreme speed.
Menuing. Okay, we didn't teach Karate Chop. That was the correct decision.
Yeah, he was trying to figure it out.
We have Flash. We have the technology. It does appear that Smitty was waiting for Flash. I'm willing to bet that he was waiting for Flash to come here and do this, which I understand. A lot of runners, because this is such a check-dense location, a lot of runners are willing to do Rock Tunnel in the dark to try and get that edge, which I understand. It's perfectly sensible that he waited, though. Glacier Badge is a pretty big deal. The fact that we don't have Whirlpool makes it a little bit less of a big deal, but as soon as we do get Whirlpool, that is a big deal.
Yeah, Whirlpool only really has like 3 places where Whirlpools are actually a problem. One's just outside of Tojo Falls, one is 3 checks in the Dragon's Den, and one is all of the checks in the Whirl Islands, and there's like 12 of them.
So a couple quick things. First off, I did miss that Baby did Rock Tunnel. Did Baby do Rock Tunnel over an hour ago? Then why is he doing it right now? Snow Bear? But also, I don't know if you saw that in his bag. I definitely saw a Silver Wing in Smitty's bag just a second ago. I don't remember where he got it, but I definitely saw him have it right now.
Yeah, we just both straight up missed it then. Like, if Baby K did Rock Tunnel like an hour ago, he would not have reset the Glacier Badge.
I mean, he might have. Like, if you know where it is and resetting it, like, gets you a good... Like, being in Rock Tunnel doesn't get you an advantage at the time, it's not necessarily a bad idea to leave it there as long as you know where it is.
Yes, but at the same time, you gotta remember, that was about the point in time in which he was sitting on 6 badges and was desperate for a 7th.
That's true. Ha, Snow Bear, I was right.
Alright, so Baby K is activating the power plant side quest, and Smitty is doing Soft Sand Girls, that check that I really hate.
Everyone really hates it, but that's why you have to do it. Because if there's something there, you're the only one who's going to get it.
Yeah, don't remind me. So do you think after this, Baby K just turns north and does Nugget Bridge? He's strong enough for it. It'll only cost him about 5 minutes.
I think he should. At this point, like, you kind of might as well. Have we already checked Lost Item, by the way?
I haven't seen either of them do it, to be honest with you.
Then I want them to do that. Big things that we're still missing, FYI, for anybody at home who's keeping track of and wants to know what we're still looking for. We still need Pokegear parts. Radio card, expansion card, big deal. It's still a little strange that we have no clue about those. Also, either Rising Badge or Waterfall HM would be huge and unlock a lot of checks. So
They have the Waterfall HM.
Go ahead.
They have the Waterfall HM.
Sorry, Rising Badge or the Whirlpool HM.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the big thing we're looking for right now is we have a lot of stuff. We're still looking for the next big progress item.
Yeah, we're missing 2 or 3. Like, there's 3 big progress items. The Rising Badge, the Whirlpool HM, the basement key, and like to a lesser extent the machine part. It's only like 3 checks, but it's still, you know, an amount of checks. It's like 3.5.
I mean, you know, there's a couple like other fetch quests. Like I still really like. I'm still surprised by efficiency stuff, right? Like, so Smitty, if we have the lost item right now and no one has checked it, why? That's kind of curious to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I could be very wrong in saying that nobody has checked it yet. I commented one of these earlier today, and then in the time between the one earlier today and this one, I ran my own. I'm getting a little
yeah. But yeah, so that, I mean, are we strong enough to fight Sabrina? That's a pretty quick check.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At this point, they're definitely strong enough to fight Sabrina.
Smitty checked lost item? Okay.
Hey, babyk is doing Kimono Girls. He's gonna find his mineral badge.
And Smitty, true to form, following the commentator's advice, of course. That's why he's... What is this pathing? I've never seen that path to Sabrina ever in my life.
So it is technically the fastest path. It is 1 teleporter faster than the standard up, down, down, left. But you have to dodge 2 spinners as opposed to 1. So it's a little bit more dangerous.
Okay. Yeah, Surge is available. Like I said, I think that at this point we're strong enough to fight Kanto leaders. So I think maybe we should just do that, right?
Yeah, like they might struggle with Blue and Blaine, but they can't get there anyway, so not really a consideration.
Yeah, and I mean, getting to Misty is a really long sequence, but I mean, at this point, I mean, it gives you a lot of checks.
Yep, it's 3 checks, so. Although, don't you need Misty? Don't you need the machine part to be returned for Misty to show up?
No.
Okay, I always get confused about that. Like, in my head, for some reason, you do. I don't know why.
Yeah, Smitty's just fighting leaders. I assume that at this point, like, really all he's doing is just picking what the most efficient leader to do is at the time and just doing it. It kind of seems like the game plan right now.
I don't hate that. Unfortunately, it does mean that he almost certainly has mismarked the item finder check on his tracker.
Yeah, I am a little worried about that. You do have to trigger the power plant in order to get access to Misty. You do not need the machine part.
So it looks like babyk is doing the burn tower. Might do Morty after this. Probably not.
Don't do Morty.
He is going to find his 4th badge from Ekritique once he gets down into the basement. So Claire unlocks once you defeat Rocket Tower. So both of them have already done that. You can go do Claire right now. The thing is, we don't have fast Claire on, so you do have to delve into the Dragon's Den in order to get Claire's items. The problem with this is that there are 5 items in the Dragon's Den. 3 of them are locked behind Whirlpool. So it is a 6 fight path because there's 4 gym trainers, the gym leader, and then the first guy inside Dragon's Den for 2 checks.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet we're gonna want to see Whirlpool before seeing anybody fight Claire. But the fun thing is that it's very possible that one of those 2 checks is Whirlpool.
Yep, but probably a little bit more likely. Original Smitty just beat Surge and found the Hive Badge, and that's pretty significant.
Yeah, and so the first thing it looks like that he's going to do, which I don't disagree with at all, is we're going to Lake of Rage. We're going to go up the left side of the path, and there's a couple of items here that are locked by cut. I believe 3, if I remember correctly.
There are 3, yeah. This is my go-to for the first place I go once I find cut, if I have everything open to me. But there's a bunch of checks that are locked behind cut. Erica's behind cut. There's 3 at the Lake of Rage. There's 1 south of Violet. There's 2 south of Lavender. Like, there's a lot of checks that are locked specifically directly behind cut. So, finding that, good things. Again, all of this is tempered if he doesn't find the Rainbow Badge.
Well, it's also kind of tempered if none of these cut checks yield anything, which would be kind of odd at this point.
Volcano
There's
Badge.
a Volcano Badge. A required piece of trash.
It's hard to, like, I try not to use it as an argument of, well, if this doesn't pay off, then it was a big waste of time, because it's like, you're not going to know if it pays off or not until you do it. So, like, you can't really use that as consideration.
I don't mean to say that it's a waste of time. I just mean that it doesn't increase his lead over Baby.
Fair.
But yeah, I agree. We're really waiting on kind of to see if Smitty is going to find that Rainbow Wing. I mean, if not, he might end up 100%ing the seed, and, you know, I don't know, Baby's going to have to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying is, if he accidentally has missed the item finder check and has marked it off and thinks he's already done it, like, I genuinely, unless this goes to be like an Elite 400% seed, I don't know how he wins this. I just don't. He's on his way to do Erica now, which 4 checks to 4 items, 4 fights for 2 items is not awful efficiency. Of course, every minute that ticks by, we are getting closer and closer to another Elite 4 seed, which I'm not expecting, but possibility is there. Alright, Baby K has cleared out Morty. Got his not required items.
Scammed. Scammed!
So at this point, do you think he goes and does sort of the same... No, he has to go do... No, wait, he has done that section, hasn't he? I could have sworn he's already done this. I'm getting the worst case of deja vu. I could have sworn he's already done this gem.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? I don't know. The fact that Price didn't didn't get bullied. I don't know how to say defeated. There we go. Defeated. The fact that we didn't do Price right after leaving Rocket, Mahogany Rockets, really confuses me.
Like, I genuinely thought that at least one of them did, but apparently they both put it off until later. My head hurts.
So one thing I was saying is that Wingage pointed it out earlier in chat. But looking at Smitty's stream, his personal stream, where he is broadcasting his own run, he has right-clicked Ecritique, so he does not have that item finder on his tracker right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a big problem. I've done a couple of instances of that before, and every single time I've wound up 100%ing the seed.
Granted, he also only has 4 squares left on his map, which is Claire, the item to the right of Janine, and the power plant, and then Misty stuff. So,
which seems like okay, he's gonna be all right, except that the item that he's missing is the rainbow badge, which has nothing locked behind it until he gets to the end of the game. So he's going to find the 2 pieces of the radio tower, and he's gonna find Whirlpool, and he's gonna find the rising badge before he gets done clearing everything and realizes, oh dang it, I've mismarked something. So it doesn't matter that he only has 4 checks left. One of those 4 checks is going to have something that will open up like 18 more checks for him. There's the basement key.
Yeah, so that'll open up some checks for him. We are really kind of waiting to see what he's going to find. I mean, a lot of this is going to come down to if Smitty can piece together that he's missed that.
Yeah. And I don't know either way if he will or not. I hope he does. But it's going to be interesting to see if it happens, because right now he doesn't even realize that he has a problem.
Yeah. Grant, I mean, right now, I think that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's ahead.
The only way we don't see... No, we're going to see Rising Badge, because the Rising Badge can't be behind the Rainbow Badge. There's no checks behind the Rainbow Badge that you don't also need the Rising Badge for. The only stuff behind the Rainbow Badge is Mount Silver.
Yeah, and I mean, like, not to mention the fact that, like, once he realizes that he's missed something, like, there's no guarantee that he'll know immediately where to go.
Yeah. Like, the only thing that he could not find and realize, oh dang, I've missed something, is if HM06 or the machine part is in Mount Silver, and he manages to clear everything else off the board, he'll realize, oh dang, I've missed something.
Yeah.
But like the other 3 badges that he doesn't have, the Thunder, the Rising, and the Earth badge, he's going to find those before he clears everything off the board. And when he finds the Rising badge, it's going to open up all of the waterfall checks. So, and then he's also going to find the 2 pieces of the radio card before he runs out of checks. Like, there's nothing that can be locked behind the Rainbow Badge to prevent him from finding those items and opening up a whole bunch more checks. So he's not going to run out of checks until he basically 100%s the seed.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. I mean, it happens to the best of us, to be fair. And
yeah.
Also, like, you know, it's definitely not impossible that he generates himself a big enough lead to make up for it. It's just kind of unlikely.
It's also not impossible that he has a moment of, oh shoot, I mismarked this. Like, I've had that happen to me before as well.
That's true.
But like, it's just the biggest shame of this entire thing is that the thing that he has mismarked, not only is it that it's required, but it's the thing that he has mismarked is a Kanto badge.
Yeah.
Because they don't lock anything. Again, unless there's only 7 before the radio tower. if he had orphaned the expansion card, then at the very least he would have realized that he had orphaned it before doing all of the West Kanto checks, because he can't get to the West Kanto checks. But the only thing that the Rainbow Badge is going to lock him out of is the Mount Silver checks, which he wasn't going to check anyways.
Yeah, Soru, he mismarked it. Yeah. We can see his tracker on his personal stream, and he has right-clicked Ekritik.
The other option that would possibly save him on this is if one of the other items that he needs is in the last possible location. So like, if Earth Badge is the Rainbow Wing check. If Earth Badge is the Rainbow Wing check, then neither of these runners are going to get to that forever. And that means that they're probably both going to end up 100%ing the seed more or less. So,
I mean, like, there's a number of things, right? Like, I mean, if E4 is required, it's possible that both of the runners 100% the seed. Yeah. There's a number of things that could potentially lead to both runners either 100%ing the seed or basically 100%ing the seed. Yeah. And those kinds of scenarios are what could potentially let Smitty find out that he made that mistake.
Yeah, it's the big question is going to be how far away from 100%ing the seed is the last item besides that badge found. If it's very close to 100%ing the seed, then he's not actually going to lose that much time, because he'll do like the last one check that he needs to do, realize, oh shoot, I've mismarked something, what is it?
Yeah, and the other thing is, of course, like, how big a lead is Smitty capable of generating, right? Like, if he just does his checks more efficiently than babyk, and he buys himself enough time between when he 100%s the seed, and baby finishes the seed, that's kind of what we're trying to figure out.
Shadow, it can be very easy or very, very hard. If you know that you're inclined to forget the item finder and it's the first place you think to look, then he finds it very, very easily, and it's basically no harm, no foul if it's already close to 100% seed. But if he's like me in that you don't have enough experience to know which items you tend to mismark, and he's just got to be like, well, I guess I've got to check every item in the game again because I don't remember which ones I didn't check, then he might end up having to just do a dot surrender or dot forfeit.
I mean, that is kind of what it comes down to, right? Like, it's probably not going to come down to talking to every single person again. It depends on memory. It depends on your knowledge of your own, like, inconsistencies and stuff like that. Like I said, I was talking about earlier. I mean, like, this exact thing with that exact check has happened to me before in a race, and I caught it easily because I know that I just blazed through Ekritik way too fast. Like, I know that is a fault of mine in my own play, and so like I caught it faster than most people probably would have. Yep. But that's not necessarily something that's true of all people, because of the just pure disdain that I have for Ekritik and everything Morty stands for.
Yep, and I've had seeds where I've mismarked something, and then, like, not even close to 100%ing the seed, I look back up and go, wait a minute, did I actually do the Kimono Girls, or did I just right-click? Yeah. And then realize, oh no, I didn't do the Kimono Girls. I need to unmark that. Like, I mean, it's not. I don't know his personal habits. He may or may not have that, like, inclination. But I've definitely had moments in which I've mismarked something, and then just no feedback, realize, oh dang it, I mismarked something.
RPG Mel brings up something that I think is also kind of important. Tauros isn't the bulkiest thing in the world. Like, I'm not saying that this is incredibly likely, but imagine a scenario where in this seed, for some reason, Red's lead is a Machamp with Mach Punch. Baby might just not be able to do that in time for Smitty to catch up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could still happen. Like, it's not looking good for Smitty. I feel like that's fair to say. But he's not out of this yet.
Also, to be fair, if we 100% the seed, which would kind of need to happen in this case, Baby's probably going to be a higher enough level that even like a Machamp with a Mach Punch might be probably doable. But still, things to consider.
Yep.
Alright, so Smitty got through Claire without too many issues. I mean, that's the other thing that's really nice about this race is for both of the runners right now. Neither one of these mains are struggling at all. Like, we've had races, and there are races that exist that where just mains just didn't want to play today. And that's not happening.
Yeah, my first race today was a Starmie versus a Pidgeot. And the Starmie actually struggled more than I expected it to. And then, of course, the other race was Mewtwo versus Mewtwo, which is kind of funny to me. So the front half of Dragon's Den has struck out for Smitty. There is nothing there, and there is no Whirlpool to get him into the back half. He'll be back once he finds Whirlpool, if he finds Whirlpool. It is entirely possible that Whirlpool is in Mount Silver. Of all the HMs, that one's the most likely to wind up there. With the least likely, of course, being Flash, because it can't be there.
Yeah, there's also a lot of checks that Smitty is waiting on Rising Badge for as well, so big things. And not to mention that Whirlpool unlocks way more than just those Dragon's Den checks.
It unlocks, I checked past Dojo Falls, the Dragon's Den, and the Whirl Islands, and I think that's it. It only unlocks three locations for checking, which is why it's probably the most likely to wind up inside Mount Silver. I've had it show up there like twice.
Yeah, but not to yes and no, because Whirl Islands is a lot of checks.
Yeah, that's fair. I think in the grand scheme of things, though, it's still fewer than the number of check blocks behind everything else.
Or yeah. Flash. But that barely counts.
Flash can't be there, though, is the thing.
In Silver?
Yeah, because the first room.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, Flash can't be there, and Fly can't be there because of the logic we put in.
Yeah.
But everything else technically can be there, which is really funny to me. I'm still waiting for the Surf in Mount Silver.
That's not that.
I brought it up in the previous race. It is technically possible that Surf is not required for one of these seeds.
Technically.
It's like not requiring Zelda's Lullaby for Ocarina of Time. It's so incredibly unlikely that nobody has ever seen it, and I'm willing to bet that nobody ever will. But it is theoretically possible that you do not need Surf to complete a seed, and therefore it could be located in Mount Silver.
True. Alright, so Smitty is going to do the Nugget Bridge here, or Nugget Hedge Maze, I guess. This is typically a really good place to get experience, especially earlier on in the game. But right now, at this point, I mean, like, we're already entering territories where, like, if Smitty had to fight Red with the Feraligatr in its current state, current moveset, current experience pool, he could probably make it happen. Like, we're already kind of there.
Yeah, especially if he's got enough X items. Like, I've beaten Red with weaker Pokemon.
Oh, I've beaten Red with way weaker Pokemon.
Both in terms of level and in terms of just garbage. Yeah. What's the worst Pokemon you've ever beaten Red with in terms of, like, quality?
Oh, I don't know, man.
I absolutely know mine, because I did it once before, and it was the dumbest thing ever, and it was hilarious.
I might have tried to beat Red with a Swag Cargo at some point. I don't remember if I was successful.
So I successfully beat Red with a Yanma.
Nice.
The Yanma had Aeroblast and it was the Lugia. But I still beat it with a Yanma, which is like one of the lowest base stat total Pokemon in this game.
Yeah.
I genuinely wish I had streamed that run because I would have clipped that fight because that fight was nuts. So, Baby K is grabbing the leftovers. It is the one item that is not randomized, as far as I'm aware. The leftovers will always be in that trash can, so you can always have a leftovers for your Pokemon if you want it. It's actually quite nice.
Someone asked in chat, yes, it is possible for Cut to be in Mount Silver. Likely? No. Possible? Yes.
Yeah. Because you need 21 items or 22, depending on the arrangement. You need the 16 badges, you need the 3 parts of the card, and then you need some way to get to Kanto. And you can do that either with the pass and cut, you can do that with the squirt bottle and the ticket, or you can do that with the squirt bottle, or you can do that with the pass and waterfall and surf.
Yeah. Basically, if you have the ability to use Surf and Waterfall, you technically don't need Cut.
Yeah. You wake up the Snorlax, and then you go back through Tojo Falls. It's a long, roundabout way of doing it, but it was recently added to the logic, and it is a thing that you can do.
Which also means that it's possible that Cut is in Pewter, and, like, West Kanto in general.
Yep. I've not had one of those seeds yet. I know that they exist, and I know that they're kind of annoying. Especially if, I've never seen this, but I really want Waterfall to be one of the items that you can get on the other side of Diglett's Cave, and then Cut is over in West Kanto. Like, that would just be mean.
Sounds like some Plando kind of plans.
I come up with the worst Plando plans all the time. Like, if you ever seen me commentate anything, it's just me going, what is the most evil possible thing I could do to make this just awful for everybody involved? Hey, there's the Earth Badge.
Muck is a good Pokemon wing. I don't know what you're...
Ethan, I think I remember them doing that, and it was... I don't know what the item was because their bag was full, but that just means that it wasn't anything important. I'm pretty sure I remember saying that.
I know Smitty's marked it off of his tracker, but that might not mean anything.
Okay, but we can't...
Oh, no.
Like, I'm pretty sure that they have.
Yeah, I think so as well. What a fabulous prize! Oh gosh.
I mean, it was required. Oh dear.
Okay.
So
the
that's
plot thickens.
So that's simultaneously pretty decent and really bad for Smitty.
He thinks it's really good. Unfortunately,
he thinks it's great, and he's going to go swoop in and do the rest of the back of Mount Mortar,
which is what he should be doing. This is correct play.
Yeah, it is. It is the correct play. It's just for Smitty to have a better chance at this, Smitty needs the Thunder Badge to be behind the Elite Four. Like, at this point, that's what he needs.
True, it could be radio cards as well.
Yeah, I forgot about the radio cards. He needs something critical behind the Elite Four. Like, just bare minimum, that's what he needs. There's Whirlpool.
Whirlpool, I mean. Yeah. No, the map opens up. His tracker is going to light up like a Christmas tree.
Yep, which is, like I mentioned, it was going to happen. He's going to find everything except possibly Whirlpool, which he found, before he clears everything out and realizes he's missed something.
I mean, like I said, I think that, like, if you give Smitty the rainbow badge, just like say that in the next 5 seconds, Smitty just has a moment of brilliant clarity and goes back and grabs the rainbow badge, he's a good bit ahead.
Oh, absolutely. If Smitty has that flash of insight and goes, I forgot the rainbow badge on the item finder, or I forgot the item finder check, Smitty is crushing it levels of ahead.
Which, like, that's what he needs in order for a mistake like this to not cost him the race. So, we're piecing together something that could potentially lead to him winning. It's still maybe not likely.
Yeah, the problem is that even if he does find one of the radio card pieces on the Elite Four, that still opens up all of Western Kanto, and he's going to go and do all of that plus Blaine, plus Blue, plus Brock, before he realizes that things are not working. So, like, it still does need to be the Thunder Badge behind the Elite Four for him to have much chance. Because if it's one of the radio card pieces, then Baby K will probably put that off until the end, do it, get the piece he needs to be in go mode, and then just skip all of Western Kanto and go straight to red. And save, like, 10 or 15 minutes on Smitty, who would do all of Western Kanto.
It would be 100%ing the seed at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it needs to be the Thunder Badge, and it needs to be behind, basically, the Elite Four. So at this point, I suspect we're going to see the other half of Dragon's Den, and then we're going to see Whirl Islands. And then, depending on what he finds there, is going to probably dictate where he goes next.
Did my mic get better?
Yeah, it was only off for one message.
Okay, cool.
So you're fine.
Mr. Crimes with the Whirlpool.
I regret bringing that up. Claire, how do you fail a multiple choice quiz in which the Elder lets you have as many guesses as you want?
Claire's not the brightest in the bunch.
Claire is not the brightest light bulb in the silverware drawer.
There's the Thunder Badge.
That's really bad for Smitty. That's genuinely awful.
He doesn't know it yet, but it is.
No, he doesn't know it yet, but that is probably the worst thing that he could have found there.
I mean, the thing is that we still need those radio cards.
We do, but I don't think they can be buried deep enough in the seed now that it's going to be close to 100% seed for both runners. Like, at this point, because the radio card will open up all of Western Kanto, at bare minimum, he's going to have all of Western Kanto to do over his opponent. Unless his opponent finds the radio cards before finding the Thunder Badge, basically. Like, if he doesn't do Dragon's Den, then yeah, like, he might have an advantage, but he's still probably going to do Dragon's Den before he does the Elite Four.
I mean, so the fact that Thunder Badge is on Claire, I mean, Claire is one of those checks that some runners put off for a long time. So, you know, I mean, it also does kind of depend on how Baby's going to prioritize his checks.
Yeah, and absolutely. Like, if Baby manages to find both pieces of the radio card before, like, so Smitty might still have a chance here if both pieces of the radio card are in here and babyk chooses to do the Whirl Islands over the Dragon's Den, which he very well might.
I mean, at this point, where the radio cards are doesn't matter. The big thing is, like, when babyk finds them, right?
Well, I say that if the radio cards are in here, he's still got a decent chance, because if babyk comes in here and finds the radio cards before doing Dragon's Den, because at that point he would basically only have... He'd find the Earth Badge and the Rising Badge at the same time. He'd only be missing the Thunder Badge. If he finds both pieces of... If he comes in here, if he goes into Mount Mortar, finds Whirlpool, comes and then chooses to come here rather than the Rising Badge, which I feel like he probably would, and finds both pieces of the radio card, that would also lead him to Western Kanto probably before Claire.
Yeah.
At which point, it's still not 100% seed, because it's still unlikely he would do Elite Four before doing Dragon's Den, but at the very least, it would be closer to 100% seed than if they're not here. Like, at this point, Smitty needs babyk's routing to turn this into an almost 100% seed, and that's the best chance he has at doing that, is having both pieces of the radio card show up right here. There's one of them.
There's one. Did you see what the Lugia was?
It was a Murkrow.
Okay, no thank you. Understandable. That's a hefty no thank you. The B item!
That I got really excited there for half a second.
What, you weren't a fan of him finding the Badio card? Or the bed scale?
Yeah. I don't know.
Or a Boltra Ball?
So at this point, that red scale, if that red scale is not either the card or something that immediately leads to the card, like the machine part, this is going to be very difficult for Smitty.
Okay, so let's see. What checks does Smitty have left? E4?
So he's got Elite Four. He's...
According to his own tracker, I think he's got like E4, Power Plant, and that's it. Like...
Yeah, and he doesn't have the machine part, so the Power Plant is like, it would get you one check in Misty's gym. And I think he's already done that.
Oh, he's also doing the Whirlpool check outside of Tojo.
Yeah, he's got that one as well. I forgot about that. If that one is, if any of the things up to here are the expansion card as well, he might still have a chance, but it's like the further he has to go for this expansion card, the less likely it is that things are going to end up working.
I don't know. I don't really know how much it matters, honestly.
I don't either, but the way I see it, it's his best chance. Is babyk putting off doing Dragon's Den until after he does pretty much all of Western Kanto.
That's true. I mean, also, if the expansion card is just in a hard-to-find place that's going to take babyk a while, that might also be part of it. I mean, I don't know. There's a couple of things.
I mean, it could, but he needs to find the expansion card before he finds the Thunder Badge. Because if he doesn't, then he's going to be able to skip all of Western Kanto, and that's going to cost... It's basically going to cost Smitty too much time. It doesn't really matter how big his lead is. At that point, his lead is not so big that he can do all of Western Kanto and still stay in the lead.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, at this point, the only thing we need for no mode is the expansion card.
For Schmitty, we need the expansion card and Rainbow. For Baby, we need the Thunder Badge, which we know is in Dragon's Den.
Yep.
The Do we know where the other badges that Baby's missing are?
Yeah, they're right here. He's going to get both of them at the end of Thunder Bridge.
Right.
Both Rising and Earth Badge are right here at the end of the bridge.
Yeah, and that's gonna light up Baby's. That's gonna light up a lot of checks for Baby, so we're gonna have to see how he reacts to that.
Yeah. And just the important thing is, how much does he not want to do Dragon's Den?
There's the Earth Badge.
Like, it's entirely possible that Baby may be one of those people who doesn't like doing Claire because it's, 6 fairly long fights for 5 checks. He may end up thinking he's behind because of how long it's taken to get to this point. Like, there's a lot of things that could cause him to not go and do the Dragon's Den. But if he does decide to do the Dragon's Den before finding and then doing all of Western Kanto, then he's basically going to win.
Yeah, Smitty's starting his E4 run. Or is he?
He's got one
more check.
check.
So Shadow right now is not a we're not in the bracket stage yet. We're in groups. So basically the entire tournament pool is split into a bunch of groups of 3, and everyone plays each other in their groups, and then the top 2 from each group, I believe, get placed in the bracket.
Yep, it is 16 groups of 3, top 2 make it out. So it's going to be a 32-person bracket at the end. And then single elimination.
Yeah.
So at this point, Baby has now found his whirlpool, which is the first piece that he needs. And so the question now becomes, where does he go after this? That's going to be the thing to watch. If he goes to Whirl Islands and then spins off from there, Smitty is still alive. If he goes straight to Dragon's Den, then Smitty is probably drawing dead.
I mean, and even then, like, we have questions about how fast Baby is going to be moving.
Yeah, and they're relevant questions, but I don't think Baby is going to go so slow that he will give Smitty time to do all of Western Kanto. Like, there's not a whole lot of long checks in Western Kanto, but there's still 3 gyms and running over half the map.
I mean, but you also have to think about the fact that with what Smitty has right now, I think expansion card is E4 locked. Like,
I think you're right, but that doesn't help Smitty because if it comes down to the choice for Baby between E4 and Claire, most runners are going to elect to do Claire because it's 5 checks as opposed to 2.
Well, I agree, but that means that Baby has to do the E4.
He does, but he won't have to do Western Kanto.
I agree, but like, here's the thing, right? Like, that's shortening the amount of lead that Smitty needs in order to give himself time to fix the problem. Like, if Smitty had to do E4 to 100% the seed and Baby just didn't do E4, that would be a much worse scenario for him.
You're right. That is true. But overall, he's still going to have to do an entire West Kanto's worth of time over Baby in order to make this work.
I agree, but luckily now it doesn't seem like he has to do an entirety. He doesn't. He now has to beat Baby by the time it takes him to do West Kanto, not the time it takes him to do West Kanto and E4.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, I see what you're saying. You are correct. Yep. So, Baby is making the move to the Whirl Islands first.
Okay.
That was the thing that Smitty needed to see in order to still have a chance at this.
Oh gosh, we're struggling with a recovering Golduck.
Recover's nasty, man. It can't kill you, but you can't kill it. And when you're trying to go fast, it wasting your time is generally all it has to do to be really annoying.
Yeah, and Golduck's not a bad Pokemon.
No, it's not amazing, but it's like not bad. Like there's three ranks of Pokemon. There's Mewtwo, there's Smeargle, and there's somewhere in the middle. And this one's somewhere in the middle.
I think you need to update your tier list a little bit.
For anybody who's not aware, Smeargle is like the third lowest base stat total fully evolved Pokemon in the game.
Is Smeargle's base stats worse than Ditto?
Yes.
Oh.
I always get these two confused. The current setup is Wishy-Washy is number 1, solo form Wishy-Washy, and then Shedinja, which has the gimmick of having a 1 as its HP, and then it's either Ditto or Smeargle, and then either Ditto or Smeargle, which has the gimmicks of using your opponent's stats and then learning literally every move. And then the first, like, doesn't have a gimmick as an excuse is Delibird.
Poor Delibird. Delibird. They need to give that thing an evolution or something.
They need to do something. For Alligator, just trying to learn Psychic there.
Yeah, not useful.
Yeah, but the 4 lowest base stat total Pokemon all have gimmicks. Wishy-Washy has Schooling, which makes it like an actual beast. It's like a 470. It's like a 575 base stat total when it's in school form. And then Shedinja, which has pretty decent stats, but it has a 1 in its HP because it's Wonder Guard gimmick. Ditto uses your opponent's stats, and Smeargle learns every move. And then there's Delibird as the technically worst without a gimmick. Yeah, so for anybody who wasn't here earlier when we were talking about it or doesn't remember, the goal is to beat Red, and to beat Red, you need to gain access to Mount Silver. Getting to Mount Silver requires 3 things. It requires some form of Kanto access, which both of these runners have. It requires the 3 pieces of the radio card, of which we are still looking for the 3rd. We have not found the expansion card yet on either player. And it requires all 16 badges. The location of all 16 badges are well known at this point. Both runners are missing a single badge. Baby K is missing the Thunder Badge, which can be found inside the Dragon's Den behind Claire's gym. Smitty is missing the Rainbow Badge, which is found on the Item Finder check in Equity. That's a much easier check to get to. Unfortunately, Smitty thinks he's already checked it. And so Smitty doesn't realize that he is actually missing a check, and won't realize it until he exhausts every other check in the seed.
At least in theory.
At least in theory. Yeah, Wishy-Washy solo is
Master Balling the Murkrow. Are we running a Murkrow? Please, let's go!
I don't think he's going to run it, but I think it's there for security.
No, my crow, my boy! Let's go!
Murkrow is so bad without its evolution.
Don't worry about it! It's about to beat up Red!
So, Baby K is making the same move as Smitty did to turn in the red scale at this point, which makes sense because it's a fast check when you've got, like, nothing but kind of garbage checks left. Smitty is just finishing up the Elite Four.
Like I said, I mean, the fact that if he gets the expansion card here, which I think we're going to do, like, you have to imagine, like, look, Smitty is the entirety of Claire and the entirety of E4 ahead of Baby. Like, yes, he needs time to figure out where that missing rainbow badge is. But that's a pretty big lead.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that we're talking about all of this as, like, he's going to have to do an entire West Kanto more than babyk. Well, that assumes that he realizes that he's missed it and immediately is able to figure out what it is that he's missing. It's not necessarily a guarantee that he's going to look at that and immediately recognize, hey, I need to go check the item finder house. So it's going to be that much experience plus whatever else he has to do to realize and find his missing item.
Do we think that the check is going to be the machine part or the card?
Oh, good question. Machine part.
I'm going to go machine part as well. No, it's the... Wait! What? It's at the power plant! Is it?
No, it's not. I don't think it's at the power plant, because I think that at least one of them has done that already.
That's the only square left on Schmitty's tracker. Did we miss another check?
I mean, it's highly unlikely that they both accidentally mismarked the same check.
But it is possible.
It's possible. I don't think it's likely. If it happens, this seed is going to go forever. I could have sworn babyk has already checked the vanilla machine part. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Baby doesn't have his map on his stream. I was checking to see. That said, if we are done with checks and we do not have the expansion card, Schmitty will already know that he has to find something that he's missing, which is good for him. But now he has two things that he's missing that he has to find.
Yeah, and that's even worse.
Wait. Oh, he hasn't done Misty. He has to do Misty. Oh.
We're about to figure it out. I mean, the good news is that it looks like babyk is also making a play for the Elite Four, but there's a chance that he's just going to get the checks in Victory Road and then bail out and do Misty. And if that's the case, then he is going to be needing to make an entire West Kanto plus Elite Four's worth of time.
I wonder why Smitty put that off. Huh.
Yeah, no, the mystery egg item was the drill peck TM. We've seen that, like, twice.
Yeah, we definitely did mystery egg. I don't know. This is becoming a very weird race.
It's an incredibly weird seed. I love it, and I'm here for it. I feel really bad for Smitty, but again, he's somehow still not out of it.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is just like he's playing pretty well. Like I said, we nitpicked some mistakes from him earlier, but those are honestly very minor points. He's playing very well.
Yeah, and mismarking your tracker is something that literally anybody can do. Also, happy belated 3 hours.
Also, by the way, at this point, I think we're completely eliminating the possibility that one of these racers struggles to beat Red. I don't think there's any way that happens.
Unless there's, like, the most egregious of there's the expansion card. Unless there's like the most egregious of circumstances, you're right. Like unless he's opening with a psychic Mewtwo,
I think it'd have to be something super effective at this point. Even I don't know that psychic Mewtwo would even really like 100% cause it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like eventually you'll break through that thing. It might take a while, but you'll do it.
Yep. So now Smitty begins the trek through all of Western Kanto. He's got to clear 3, which are 4. Oh my god! You are not supposed to be here. We cleared you out earlier. You already missed your chance. No. He's got to clear 3 gyms worth. Thankfully, 2 of them are just the gym leader, which he should be able to stomp through pretty easily, and 1 only has a single trainer in front of it. Like, Western Kanto, probably the most time-consuming part of the entire process is the running around.
Yeah, I mean, especially, like, at this point, if we had gotten to this stage with less levels, most certainly we could talk about Blue causing you a problem. Blue's not going to cause you a problem at this point in the game.
No, it's just going to take time to do all of these checks is the problem.
Yeah, and you're going to have to fight the rival at Route 4. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff here.
Oh, I forgot about the Route 4 check. Yeah, that's all of this. So, yeah, he's only got to do 5 fights. There's just so much running around between them all. That said, I mean,
Baby's entering Claire's gym.
Baby is entering Claire's gym, so that's big. And then the question becomes, I feel like he's going to do Misty before he does the Elite Four. Like, I'm not crazy, right? Unless he has mismarked Misty.
I don't know what to say at this point.
I feel like he's going to do Misty before he does the Elite Four.
I mean, we have no way to see if Baby mismarked anything or anything like that. But, like, Smitty's gonna find out that something's wrong. And he's gonna find it out pretty soon.
Yeah. He's gonna figure it out relatively soon. The question is just, is it going to be soon enough for him to realize what the problem is and fix it? Because he can't even start trying to fix it until he realizes that there is an issue. And he's already skipped right past the blue talk.
Why?
I think he thinks he's behind.
I mean,
he did the entire Elite Four for no payoff. He thinks he's behind.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I definitely think Misty should have been done before the E4. Like, that's not going to matter. But...
No, he still would have done the Elite Four anyways.
Yeah.
Like, for him, it doesn't matter. He would have done the Elite Four anyways, because he would have seen, I have 1 check left, and it's the Elite Four.
Oh, that's right. He can fly to the blue talk, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, no, like, I figured that's what it was, but still.
Yeah, minor inefficiency, but again, minor.
Yeah, and if the item you're looking for is on Blaine, which obviously it isn't, but if the item you're looking for is on Blaine, then it's probably the smart move, just to save yourself the extra little time there. He's going to go do Brock because he doesn't want to do Blue yet. He can't blame him.
Yeah, Baby needs the expansion card in order to reach Red, and because we know that Smitty got the expansion card from Misty, Baby has to fight Misty.
Blatant, the only thing super effective against normal type is fighting.
Yeah, it's a great defensive typing.
It's also pretty solid offensively. Like, not super effective against anything, but it hits everything except 3 types for neutrals, so... Alright, so here's him getting through Brock at this point. He's still got to do blue, and I think he also still has to do the item... Did he get the item behind the cut check south of the forest? I don't remember if he did or not. If he did, he literally just has blue left, and then he's going to realize, oh, dang it, I've missed something. And honestly, given the blue fight is just a fight, and babyk is still going to have to do at least one more fight to get through Dragon's Den, and then he's going to have to go do Misty. Oh, right, I forgot about Route 4. Dang it. I always forget about Route 4. I'm not going to say just yet that Smitty has carved out enough of a lead for himself that he might be able to still do this, but it's looking better and better as time goes on. And also, it depends on where babyk goes after this. I have no idea what babyk's tracker looks like.
Yeah, I don't think either of us do. That's a rival with a Mewtwo.
That is a rival with a Mewtwo. So, you can access West Kanto via the Victory Road Gate in Full Item, but only after you wake the Snorlax. The guard doesn't move after the Elite Four, the guard moves after the Snorlax gets woken up. So, you can go that way if you wake up the Snorlax. The problem is... Well, obviously, he doesn't have the things to wake the Snorlax yet, and so he's going to have all the badges before he finds the piece he needs to wake up the Snorlax, which means that he's going to know that he's not going to have to do anything in West Kanto, because he'll have all the items. Alright, so there's this fight, and then there's the blue fight left. And then I think Smitty should realize that he's mismarked something. Meanwhile, babyk is getting his last badge right now. It just occurred to me, Smitty really needs the machine part to not be on blue. He needs it to be in Mount Silver.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah.
Alright, here's babyk doing the Misty fight. That will get him this expansion card. Smitty needs to realize his mistake and solve it in the next, 30 seconds.
Or he needs Baby to struggle with Red, which is somewhat unlikely at this point.
Yeah, it's not entirely impossible, but it's kind of unlikely. If the card had been behind the Elite Four, I think Smitty actually would have a very good chance of winning.
I agree.
Despite everything, but it just wasn't.
Yeah.
Not helped that Feraligatr is out of surfs and doesn't seem to have any elixirs on him.
There's the expansion card. Baby K is in go mode.
Yep, Baby K is going to be booking it to the Snorlax right now.
And he did not switch to Murkrow. Disappointed.
Can I just say, I still love the fact that he's running around with 2 different Tauros.
It's the running of the bulls.
He's doing that episode from the Pokemon anime where Ash just caught 30 Tauros.
Oh no.
I think he's just shopping.
Oh. Wing. Oh no. Oh wait.
Yeah, Smitty apparently marked the rainbow badge on his own tracker, thinking that was the last check.
Is he not gonna... Oh no. Oh no.
Did he not pay attention to him not having gotten the rainbow? He thinks he got the rainbow badge from that check.
He thinks he got it. He still thinks he got it. Oh, that's painful, dude.
Not only does he think he got it, he didn't realize that that Oak conversation wasn't long enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he knows.
Yeah.
Let's see where he chooses to go first.
That's so unfortunate. Yeah, he's just sitting there thinking.
Just checking to make sure he doesn't have the machine part, yeah.
Alright, I think we're rechecking Pokemon Fan.
Just making sure he hasn't turned the machine part in yet.
Oh. So he thinks it's something to do with that. Yeah. Yeah, that really hurts. I mean, you know, this is something that happens. It really does happen to everyone. Like, the fact cannot be understated that say what you want to about whether the results of this race reflect, you know, how the runners played today or their skill or whatever. Like, Smitty played this well. Like, whether he ends up winning is not a question. He played it well.
He played it out of his mind. Like, despite the fact that he had to do like an extra 20 checks, if one of the items had been behind the Elite Four, he still probably would have won this.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's see what Baby K's got to go up with against for the red fight. There's an incredibly small but non-zero chance that this red fight's going to give him significant trouble. I don't see it, but it's possible. You hate to see this happen to anybody. Oh, he's in the right town, and he's going the wrong way.
Yeah, he's gonna check Mortar. That's probably it.
I mean, it was it 5 minutes ago, unfortunately, but.
Yeah.
It's a Blossom with Iron Tail. Yeah, this is gonna be fine.
Yeah, we're not gonna struggle with this at all. I think we're probably double checking. Yeah, double checking Mystic Water guy.
This is it's just the worst feeling.
Yeah. babyk is having a couple troubles. I think you need to make sure you're set up all the way. Like, this Blossom is not going to threaten you enough to stop you from setting up. You just need to set up to, like, as much as you need to. Though he probably also feels like he probably also feels the heat, right?
Yeah, he probably is like, if I don't get this done in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to lose this match. Like, he knows where everything was, and none of it was egregious. Like, none of it was behind the Elite Four. None of it was behind, you know, anything particularly awful. So, he's got to be feeling like Smitty is also on red and possibly even ahead of him, just finishing his sweep right now. So, he's probably biting his nails trying to figure out exactly what
happened, yeah.
Yeah, how many more seconds he's got before Smitty duns him. Yeah, that's right. When you forget a check, it's usually an easy one. I forgot the check. I forgot literally the first check on the first route one time, and it was Surf.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, I always feel like, you know, I always check Equitique. I always end up checking, like, rechecking Whirl Islands and stuff. Like, just because, especially if you ended up having to do it in the dark or something. It's the right city, Flight Equitique.
I think he's running through in his head what each of the checks in a given city are, and he just doesn't remember that he hasn't checked the item finder check.
But yeah, I mean, that said, like, there are a lot of really good plays by both runners here. Like,
oh, absolutely, and the catching the Totodile and evolving it into the Feraligatr with the rare candies was very, very smart.
Yeah, no, that was a really good play. Like, that was a really good play. His immediate recognition to go back and check, you know, like the speed that he caught missing Surf was, like, really good with Smitty. Baby thinking to go back and Surf check. Huge for him. Took advantage really nicely.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not kind of understate the fact that Smitty had this massive problem with missing this thing, but he also had a huge problem with just not finding Surf or Fly very quickly at all, and he still almost won this.
Yeah. We got a Stun Spore Blastoise here that we're dealing with.
Yeah, like, nothing here is going to be dangerous enough, I think.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, this is not knocking Smitty out of the tournament. Like, I mean, if he loses his next match as well, that definitely will. But
oh yeah, no. Yeah, no, if you can win even one match, you're not guaranteed to go through, but you're guaranteed at least a tiebreak. I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, you're guaranteed at least a tiebreak.
Yeah, that's GG. 323.16.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, for a really nasty seed, that's not bad at all.
I want to see the Taurus.
Yeah, it looks like Smitty's forfeited.
Yeah, with the dot done coming through, there's no reason to continue.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see if we can get our racers in for a closing interview.
Yep. Good games all around. Congratulations to babyk, and commiserations to Smitty. Oh, there's the Taurus. It attacks DV of 4. Not great.
Oh, gosh.
Oh man, what a race.
It looks like we're working on getting our racers in for an exit interview.
Yep, just give us one quick second.
I'm not sure if we were able to get babyk, but I think we'll have Smitty here in just a second. And I'd like to welcome the original Smitty to our chat. Smitty, of course, we have some thoughts about your race, but how do you feel about it?
Well, that was a great first race. Yeah. So where was it?
Item finder check.
I can't believe I forgot to do that.
Yeah.
Yep. I know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were watching.
Yeah, I'd say. And I can't. I don't know.
It was like, it was taking aside the fact that you had that unfortunate problem. It was an amazing performance on your part, because you had that issue. You also had a really late find of both your surf and your fly, and you still almost won.
Yeah. I felt like I was everywhere this game. I should have done the strength checks in Mount Mortar sooner, but I accidentally marked that off my tracker. But I was glad I remembered it because I didn't have time to flash. I take it he did. Did he do Elite 4 as well?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, no. You were that far ahead of him. You did the entire Elite 4 and the entire Western Kanto before he was in Go.
Well,
Not to mention that he went back and got surf and fly before going to North Johto. So yeah, you guys really flip-flopped a lot that race. I mean, like I said, it cannot be understated that I mean, you played really well, and that kind of mistake happens to everyone at least once, you know.
Yeah. Oh well, I've got another race. We'll see what happens with that one. See if I can make up for it.
Exactly. It's not over till it's over.
Yeah, that's true. Is he jumping on as well? I wanted to congratulate him.
I'm not sure. We can probably message in the race time.
All right. I can mention him in my group as well. God.
Yeah, if you'll do that as well.
Yeah. God dang. Oh, that's just disappointing. Oh well. But yeah, thank you all. I'm gonna head out. Thank you all for commentating. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I forget who the trackers are, but thank you guys.
Yeah, we got Ethan on tracking today, who was a great help to us.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. All right, well, hope you all have a good night.
You too, man.
Yeah, you too, Smitty. Thanks for jumping on.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna see if we can get babyk in here real fast.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna pull up our schedule because this is the first weekend that we've had available to do these races, and we are starting it off with a bang. People have been really excited for this tournament to start, at least in our community. So we're really looking forward to getting this going. We have 2 races going on tomorrow. That'll be pretty good. We have Azaz versus Drykian from Group D.
I have no idea.
Okay. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, but that should be tomorrow at 1 p.m. And then at 7 p.m., we have Zan9BR versus Woongi Plays. And both of those races should be pretty good for tomorrow. Monday, we've got some exciting ones coming down. We have one at 4 a.m. Eastern Time, which good luck with that. And then we have a Monday at 10 a.m. for Trickums versus Vividius. And Trickums versus Vividius. That sounds like something I kind of want to see.
I think that 4 a.m. one is probably a duel between 2 Europeans.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do have a kind of multi-continental clash going on here. So, definitely a big thing. I assume we have not been able to get a hold of babyk. If not, we might want to go ahead and just end the stream there.
It doesn't look like it, but if you liked this or have any interest in continuing to watch, the group stages are going on for the next 3 weeks, and you're going to see everybody play 2 games. Like, I've got a game scheduled for March 16th, and God only knows that's going to be a car crash, but it's going to be a fun car crash. So if you guys want to watch that, I'd love to have you guys around.
But yeah, we'll be doing these a lot this week, so if you're interested in this kind of thing, stay tuned to SpeedGaming. We'll be all over the place. We'll be doing these a lot for, probably, a month or so.
3 weeks.
Probably more. Yeah, well, we'll be doing these for 3 weeks, and then we'll have bracket stages. So there's that, and also join the Pokemon Crystal Community Discord. Links to it are in... baby, you should have received a link to your message inbox in Discord. Sorry, we might be able to get baby on.
Let's see if we can get baby in.
Hi.
Hey!
I didn't think I was even going to make it this far, so...
Welcome.
Congratulations
on your win.
Thank you. My heart is pounding. I'm a little shocked.
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Smitty had to come and go, but he wanted to say congratulations for your win.
Yeah, no, that was... I was constantly looking over just to see race end for him at any second now. But that's actually... That's the first time I've ever raced the category. I've only ever played it casually before, and playing fast is something else.
Dang. And it was a group stage race, too. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, that was really good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Schmitty had a bit of an incident.
Yeah.
He mismarked his tracker and didn't realize that he hadn't done the item finder check, and so he couldn't find his rainbow badge.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I was terrified that I was going to miss something in Mount Mortar or Isle, so...
Yeah.
Oh, I feel that. But yeah, no, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
So how'd you enjoy your double Tauros herd?
It was one of those things that was wait, I'm here, I have surf, I should just quickly double check to see if there's an awesome main in the water. Tauros popped up and I had the TMs for it and just went from there.
I have to say my biggest question of the run, because one of the big like diverging points that split the two of you early on is Surf. Smitty didn't go back and get Surf until he had already completely swept out Northern Johto. So what made you decide to go back after clearing out Kanto to go back for Kenya Quest?
Because I figured that, because I think at that point I didn't have Fly.
Correct.
So I figured, like, I knew Fly had to be before Boat, and like it was also like I could keep doing more Kanto, but my thought was, like, if it's pure mechanics, I'm probably going to lose. So if I cut back and I get Fly, then, you know, I might have a shot, was my thought.
No, that makes sense, and that's kind of what we figured it was, but...
Yeah, and that paid off.
Yeah, no, that was huge. I mean, you probably saw me just stop for a second when I picked up Surf on that, and it was just like, this was a lot more than I bargained for.
Yeah. Well, shoot.
It was like I set my center for Goldenrod. I was going to deposit, try to wipe, and then it was like, well, now I have all these Surf and Strength checks between here and Goldenrod, so guess I'm doing the long trek.
What were your thoughts when you saw both the Plane Badge and HM04 before Mr. Pokemon's house?
It was going to be a stupid seed. Like, it's just, you know, early Surf, early Strength are just things that you're like, okay, this is not going to play out normally at all.
Yeah, I was just really surprised because neither of you decided to stick with the starter Tauros when you had Strength and Plane Badge. Like, that was kind of wild to me. I mean, it worked for both of you. It worked. But gosh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I don't know that I would have done that.
I gotta ask, why Victory Bell?
Because I looked at it and it had Giga Drain and Pedal Dance, and then what I had, or
That's fair.
what else did I have on it? Was it Ice Beam?
Something like that.
I think it was
Or no, it was something physical. I guess I just threw Strength on it, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Bone Ring and Strength. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, no,
It's just, to be honest, I was blanking that I had Strength.
Makes sense.
Which should have occurred to me when I taught Strength immediately. But it was kind of one of those that I was looking at the Tauros moveset going, this isn't enough. I need something else. So.
Yeah. All right, well, awesome. And I mean, I definitely look forward to seeing you play more. I mean, this was a pretty impressive first showing if you say you had never done these races before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I've always played it casually, and like the thing that really tripped me up was trying to mark as I was going.
Oh, so bad at that.
I collected so many bonks just purely from that.
Oh, no.
And you were right, by the way. It was a stupid seed.
I don't know if you saw, but at some point I decided to fight the second to last rival, collect the fly point for E4 because it was like, this feels like it could be an E4 seed.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm just going to get this fly point.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schmitty actually cleared the Elite Four. Not really.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he was still searching for his Rainbow Badge.
Right.
And, we thought you were going to do the same, and I'm like, okay, if he does Elite Four before doing Misty, then Schmitty might still have a chance.
No, and it was purely, my thought process was, like, I feel like E4 is going to be the last thing he does. It's probably one of, like, my best gambles, but it's going to eat up so many time that if it's on Misty, I just auto-lose. And it was just, like, I don't know, I couldn't, it felt like too much of a gamble for me. So, decided to try Misty, and it paid off. You know.
But yeah, well, that's one win in your group, and that's enough to at least secure you a tiebreaker later on to try and make it to the elimination bracket. So, congratulations on your win, and
Thank you so much.
we'll look forward to seeing you race again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being back. Thank you.
All right, so with that, I think we're pretty much done for the evening. We don't have any more races of this particular tournament today. So with that in mind, I would like to give a huge shout out and a massive thanks to everybody who was involved with this. Our restreamers, our trackers, my co-host here, Strife, like our runners. Go give literally everybody involved in this process a follow because dang if they don't deserve it.
Yeah, and of course we'll be back tomorrow with more of this exciting action. So if you're interested, stay tuned to Speed Gaming. And with that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.
Yep. Have a nice night, everybody.